Fight in the freezing air of the game night. We digest today, don't solve gold. Stories of the war where legends are told. From first puck drop to the season's fall. Tune in and watch the drama unfold.
Bless you boys, what a game!
Wins the game.
Ben, whoa! Big Pappy has given the Leafs the lead! This time we're gonna finish the job! The Toronto Maple Leafs and the Chicago Blackhawks, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready and set to get underway here in a very crucial matchup for the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight. They need these 2 points. They need to beat the Blackhawks, and a very, stern message, I would say, given by the Leafs organization this morning because of obviously them honoring Joe Bowen tonight. Go out and win this game. No Connor Bedard either. Go out and win this hockey game. So this is a big one. What's up, Prophet? Nice to see you. Yeah, Aiden, if they don't win this game, I don't know what to tell anyone anymore. So they better win it. I'm going to take you in here, guys, real quick, just to hear what they're saying real quick, live in the arena.
Behind the mic, please welcome, joined by his family, a Foster Hewitt Memorial Award winner from Sudbury, Ontario, the voice of your Toronto Maple Leafs, Joe Bowen. We now ask that you turn your attention to the video board for a special tribute. That you turn your attention to the video board for a special tribute.
Joe, thanks for a fantastic career. All the years I spent with you traveling on the road and how you cover the game, bringing the game to couches and TVs and radios around Canada and for the Toronto Maple Leaf fans. Fantastic. Congratulations to a great career. Holy Mackinac!
500 career goal! Matt Sundin!
That was Matt Sundin.
I mean, Bonesy's obviously been here forever, and you get to know him throughout the years, and he's always been so nice and gracious with his time, and he'll definitely be missed.
Austin Matthews! 4 goals! Do you believe this?
Joe, how you doing, bud? I know this is it. You've come to an end of an era. You were and are the best.
Joe's voice is just so iconic, and it's played such a role in my life and my family's life.
Joey, first of all, congratulations on 43 spectacular years. And I can say without bias, you are one of the absolute best to ever do this job. And when you take the headsets off for the last time at the end of the season, you can stand proudly and shoulder to shoulder with your idols, Foster Hewitt and Danny Gallo. Now, I know people retire, careers end, but great friendships never do. And I will admit, the best part of this night...
I hate to interrupt, but Joe Bowen is getting very emotional at center ice right now. This is very touching.
Love you, pal.
My heart to you, Joe, your family. Congratulations on a great night. Love you much.
Bonesy, wonderful career. Congratulations. I've always enjoyed listening to you, not only at the games, but spending time with you.
Hey, Joe, it's your old buddy Tux. The years that we spent together were unbelievable. Years in the playoffs, and I'll never forget the call you made in 2002. God bless you, boys.
Hey, Joe, congratulations on a great career. You probably embellished my career and made it sound a lot better than it was. Thank you for that.
If I'm being honest with you, I would say it's probably one of the coolest things for me personally about playing for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Obviously, wearing the jersey is one thing, but to have his voice in the background while I'm playing for my childhood favorite team in my city that I grew up in, you can't make that up. It's pretty special.
Listen, happy 43 years, man. You did a great job. I love you, and God bless, and we'll
We'll see you soon.
Growing up in Toronto, being a Leafs fan as a kid, and getting to live out that childhood dream. And a big part of that is Joe Bowen.
Holy mackerel, what a performance!
Very touching tribute for Joe Bowen. He is crying at center ice right now. I wish this guy could do this forever. He is, and probably will forever be, the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs. So many Maple Leafs giving their...
Joe's contributions and incredible career. He will be presented with a special commemorative golden microphone. Here to present him with this gift on behalf of the Leafs organization is Toronto Maple Leafs alumnus Wendell Clark. One of Joe's broadcasting heroes was the legendary Foster Hewitt, whose name graces the media gondola atop Scotiabank Arena. Since the arena opened in 2000, Joe has called every game from his hero's perch. And tonight, that legacy will continue as we announce that next season, following Joe's retirement, the radio booth inside the media gondola will be known as Bowen's Booth. Joe, you are a Maple Leaf forever. We now ask that Connor Murphy, alternate captain of the Chicago Blackhawks, and Austin Matthews, captain of your Toronto...
All right, they're going to do a ceremonial puck drop here, so I'm going to turn that off. But a very touching tribute there to Joe Bowen, who is and will forever be the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs in his last season calling games for this organization. So that was pretty cool. A mix of different Maple Leafs giving their thoughts and thanks there. So that was cool. And yeah, it should be a fun one tonight. I mean, I think the Leafs posting that video earlier where they're gifting Bowen a lot of stuff and saying, you know, thank you for your contributions to the organization and all of that throughout the years. You're 44 years doing this. You know, that was kind of, I think, a shot across at the Maple Leafs players to be like, hey, we have to win this game tonight. You cannot lose this game tonight, especially with Connor Bedard out of the lineup, one of the best players offensively in the NHL this year. So, looks like they're going to clean up here. They're going to do the national anthems, and then we're going to have a puck drop here in just a few minutes. But Joe Bowen night tonight in Toronto, one of the greatest to ever do it. Certainly the best to do it for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Well, Kevin, there's still one last May and June he can call a cup win in this year. He's always said that he always believed his last season they would win the cup. So, or something along those lines. I don't know if those are the exact words, but said something like that. So we'll see if that plays out this year. That'd be really nice. But we're going to get underway very shortly here, guys. They're just doing the national anthems here. And a little bit of a delay tonight because of the ceremony to start. We got some fun stuff planned for the intermission tonight as well, so stay tuned for that. And I thank you all for watching along here again on Leafs Digest with me. I'm going to do these once a week. Nice to see some familiar faces. Didn't get a chance to do this yet, but nice to see you in here. Chris, Prophet, as always, a pleasure. Aiden, always a pleasure as well. Remember you from last year. See Ian in here. Dodgers Digest always making an appearance. Vector, yes, the game should be starting very soon. Kevin, hopefully he calls a cup win. Chris, again, go Leafs go. Let's get some go Leafs go going in the chat. But thank you, everyone, for tuning in once again. We can get a little roll call going before we start here. Game is about to get underway. Where's everybody watching from? We got a big game here tonight. And yeah, where are you watching from? You're watching from the States? You watching from somewhere else in Canada? You're watching from Toronto? Maybe you're watching from Toronto. But let me know. But Scott saying he put an $8 bet on Robo anytime goal, hoping scratch and score hits tonight. I was telling everybody to bet on Robo on Saturday, and boy, oh boy, was that close, man. He almost scored at least twice, at least. So we'll see what happens tonight. No Connor Bedard for the Chicago Blackhawks. Also, Joseph Woll returns from injury. He is in goal tonight. No Dennis Hildeby, so Joseph Woll is in goal tonight. There's a little bit of changes to the lineup. Nylander's up on the top line with Matthews and Nyes. The second line is Robertson, McMahon, and Tavares. And the third line, Domingues there with Waugh and Joshua. And your fourth line is something we saw in the preseason with Lawton, Lorentz, and Easton Cowan on the right side there. So excited to see how this one goes. Again, this is a big win. I feel like the Leafs they posted a video earlier today on social media of them gifting Joe Bowen a lot of things because of his career and the 44 years he's done this for the organization, him being the voice of the Leafs, etc. And I feel like that was a bit of a poke at them, like, hey guys. And I wonder if there was a meeting earlier today where it's like, hey guys, win this game. Like, there's actually no other option. You have to win this game. This would be embarrassing if they lost this game. There's no Connor Bedard. Spencer Knight has been fantastic for the Chicago Blackhawks. I have him in fantasy. He has a 915 so far this year. He has been really good. But besides that, the Blackhawks are a young, inexperienced team. They're without their best offensive threat tonight. Win this game. Win this game. And we're just moments away from puck drop here. They've wrapped up the anthems. We're ready to go here for the official puck drop of this game. Let's get some score predictions, and shout out to Wayne, who's watching from Nebraska. Nice. Got Leaf fans everywhere, man. It's awesome. Frida is watching from Mississauga. Shout out Frida. We're just 2 seconds away here from puck drop. Benny's World. What's up, Benny? It's Benny's World. We're just living in it. Tulum, Mexico. Just got here. Got to get my Leafs in. Shout out John in Tulum. Hope you're having fun. Is it a vacation? Imagine it's vacation. Good time to go. It is getting tough here in the GTA. 4-3 Hawks. The Hawks with 23 seconds left on the clock. Well, that would be a very Leafs thing to happen, wouldn't it? Some former Leafs on the Chicago Blackhawks as well. Looks like Mikheyev is starting for the Blackhawks. We also got, of course, Tyler Bertuzzi. Looks like they gave some rally towels out tonight as well, so atmosphere looks pretty good. As good as the atmosphere in Scotiabank Arena is going to get on a random Tuesday night, let's be honest. Not always great. And again, no Connor Bedard for the Blackhawks. Joseph Wolinette for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and we are underway here in the first period. Puck down into the Blackhawks zone. Turnover, Nick Waugh has it on the far boards to Max Domi. Max Domi with a big hit. Waugh is fighting for the puck. He loses it. The Blackhawks are back in transition. It's out to center. And OEL stops it, and the Leafs are going back the other way. Joshua into the zone. He shoots it on goal. He's chasing. I don't hate that. I don't hate that. Shot on goal, and you chase after it. Carson saying, Flyers fan watching the Flyers from my living room in Brick, New Jersey. Is Brick, New Jersey a real place? I'm sure it is. I'm just joking. Shout out to you, Carson, and shout out to the Flyers. I have a friend who is a huge Flyers fan, and he just let me know that Rasmus Ristolainen's back in their lineup tonight after missing a long period of time, so shout out to them. Oh, you moved to Tulum. Got Nylander in on a break. He's going around the net, circling the net. He gets it out in front. Gets blocked, though. Back to the point. Benoit takes a shot. Nyes takes another shot. It's deflected wide. Todd is asking if I'm taking over for Joe Bowen next year. Listen, if the Leafs call, I mean, I'm happy to answer the phone and talk specifics. I probably wouldn't say no if they were to ask. I just don't know if I'm maybe the best person for that job. I would love to do that. That would be fantastic. Icing against the Chicago Blackhawks. And we got a face-off to the left of Spencer Knight coming here in the Blackhawks zone. Keys to the game for the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Win. Just win. Figure it out. Keys to the game. Figure it out, boys. Got a face-off win by the Leafs. Tavares shoots just. Misses the net. It's cycled behind the net now. To Bobby McMahon. We have that second line of Tavares, McMahon, and Robertson out, which I have enjoyed this season, especially when they were together earlier when there was a lot of injuries. Still a lot of injuries to the Leafs, but yeah. Bertuzzi back the other way. He gets it to Nazar. Nazar gets it on the... He turns it over. Leafs get it back in their own zone. They try to break it out, and they flip it out to center. Nothing there. They get a change. I have noticed that the Leafs, at least in the last couple of games, like their changes, and I didn't watch too much of Saturday's game. I did have something going on, so that was the first game I kind of almost completely missed. They look a little bit better in terms of line changes. Like earlier this year, they looked completely lost. And it was like, is this even an NHL team at times? So that looks a little bit more encouraging. But like, I mean, talk about like the little positives. I mean, oh, their line changes look better. Like, geez, man, you are in the NHL. What are we talking about? Now he gets it deep in the zone. He gives chase. Matthews is with him. And what's up with Austin Matthews? Anybody have some thoughts on that? We can get that going in the chat as well. This guy is not the same player, right? Like, is the team going to address this? Is he going to address this? Did anybody else see his comments the other night? Play still going on, by the way. I will inform you if anything crazy goes on. A lot of neutral zone play tonight so far. But, like, both teams are trying to dump it in. It gets blocked, and then the other team comes back the other way, and then it gets blocked. But anyway, his comments the other night were a little concerning. And he didn't speak to the media after that loss against Edmonton. That is ridiculous. That's the captain. He should be available every game. He's literally the captain of this hockey club. I don't want to speak to anybody else after a loss but Austin Matthews. But anyway, this guy is not the same player that he was, which is concerning. Is it injury? Is it psychological? You hope it's psychological because that can be figured out. Career-ending injury usually cannot. But yeah, I didn't like his comments the other night before even that Edmonton game where he said, you know, we all need to be better. No, what are you going to do to be better? You. We're asking you. You haven't been the same player. What are you going to do about it? And then he said, we all need to be better. I didn't like that answer. And it reminded me of last year's playoffs, where he is right. They all need to be better, and you need contributions from the whole team. But that was last year. This is now. You're telling us that you're healthy. You're not the same player. Something's up here. Third line's out for the Leafs right now. Oliver Moore races into the corner for the Chicago Blackhawks. Scott is saying, I'm hoping Matthews is injured because if this is all we're going to get from him from now on, we are cooked. And I could not agree more with you. If he is injured and that's why he's playing this way, if it's something that can be resolved by him taking like a significant time off, I would like shut him down now. Get ready for next year. Shut him down now. Like, forget it. Forget this year. You're not even in a playoff spot right now. Shut it down. Figure it out for next season. If it's something where it's like he is definitely cooked, this will not get better, he's managing it, and this is what he is now, you have to look at trading him. That's what that is too. I mean, look, Quinn Hughes just got traded. You and I know different circumstances, but if that's the case, you got to look at trading him. Like next year. But we don't know, and I don't know if we'll ever know. But if Treliving knows, and he doesn't trade him, fireable offense. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Nylander takes it to the front of the net. Matthews now has the puck. He kicks it back to the point. McMahon has it. He shoots it just wide, hoping for a deflection from Matthews, and that did not happen. Matthews tries to drive the net, and he has the puck taken off of him by Matt Grzelcyk. Puck goes all the way down the ice. It's going, and it's gone for icing. Joseph Woll back in net tonight, ladies and gentlemen, after missing significant amount of time with an injury. He hasn't played since December 4th against the Carolina Hurricanes. He's back in net tonight. He's also been unreal this season. And his only problem to me has always been health. He's never been a bad goalie whenever he's in the net. Every goalie has bad games, but he's never had like so many performances where you're like, this guy's unplayable or he's not good. He's a good goalie, but his problem's always been health, staying healthy. It's very interesting. Bertuzzi kicks it wide, and the Blackhawks are driving the zone. It goes back to the point. Big slap shot, big block by, I think, Nick Robertson. It comes out to center. Connor Murphy has it. He kicks it over to his defense partner, and the Blackhawks get it back into the zone. Bertuzzi sends it deep. No icing. Del Mastro back to get it. Fun story about Ethan Del Mastro. I actually did his first ever interview when he got drafted to the OHL to the Mississauga Steelheads. I was working for the team at the time. And he's playing in the NHL for the Chicago Blackhawks now. He got called up yesterday. So really cool stuff to see that happening. Was always a really good guy and a good player, so I'm excited to see him get a shot in the NHL, and I'm sure he'll be a regular NHLer at some point, and he just got off for a change as well, and the puck goes back down the other way. It's in the neutral zone now. Scott saying Olympics is going to reveal a lot about what's going on with him. Some people think he's playing it safe and saving what he's got. Yeah, I've seen that speculation as well. I don't know if the Leafs would, like, as an organization, if we were to find out, I'll pose this question to everybody here in the chat. If you were to find out the Leafs knew about this and he was like, hey, I just want to get to the Olympics and then I'm going to shut it down, or you know, I'm playing hurt, I could shut it down, I could come back 100%, but I just want to get to the Olympics and play in the Olympics. As an organization, how much money you're paying this guy? How would you feel as a fan if you found that out, that the organization knew that? I guarantee you'd be mad. I guarantee you'd be really mad, and it would change your opinion on him. So maybe they're keeping it hush-hush, but on the other side of things, like if the organization knew about this, like I feel like somebody's got to say, my dude, we are paying you, commercial break by the way, my dude, we are paying you over $13 million to play for this team and to score goals for this team. I know you're wearing blue with the USA, but only the blue and white. We're paying you to play for this team, to score goals for this team. So if you found out that was happening, I guarantee you'd be pissed off about it. So we'll see what happens with that. Got a commercial break here. It is 0-0. Of course it is, with 12 minutes and 22 seconds left here in the first period. Okay, you guys shots on goal here in a second, but it's a pretty uneventful game. I was waiting for this commercial break. Things should open up a little bit more, I think. We'll see if one team kind of dictates play now for the next little while, but usually when games are kind of stagnant like this, you need that first commercial break to get things loose and opened up a little bit. So we'll see if that helps. Because this whole game has been in the neutral zone, or they dump it in and they turn it over. Both teams. So we'll see what happens. But where's everyone watching from? We'll get a roll call going. There's quite a few of you in here tonight, more than the average. So shout out everybody watching tonight. As you can see in the bottom right of your screen, 23,562 subscribers. Our goal by the end of tonight, 23,580. So if you are new here, hit that subscribe button. You get to stay up to date with everything going on with the Toronto Maple Leafs. And whether you love them, you hate them, you got to respect the fact that everybody talks about the Leafs. So if you hate them, you can hit that subscribe button too, because we see you guys in the comments all the time. You love knowing what's going on with this club. I don't like, listen, I don't tune into what's happening with the Habs every night. I don't, because I don't care. Like, maybe I might check out, oh, they got an injury update here. This guy's out. This guy's performing well. Not the same as people who hate the Leafs keep up to date with the Leafs. Not even close. Nylander almost scored. He puts it right across the crease. Let's see here. Scott saying, I agree. Plays going on here. It's deep in the Chicago zone here. The Leafs are trying to cycle it around. Puck also looks very unsettled tonight. The ice at Scotiabank has to be horrible. And Nylander's tripped at center. I don't think there's a penalty coming here. Scott saying, yeah, I agree. That's why the situation's so weird, unless he's playing through something minor because the standings are so close. I also think about that sometimes too. Like, these guys, I hear so many stories. These guys know when to turn it on, or like, they're like, hey, the standings are so close, like it's December, like I don't really care. But when, you know, push comes to shove, they're like, yeah, I'll get going here, I guess. I just hope that's not the case, because that's not how you win championships. That's a bad mindset to have. So I hope that's not the case, but I keep that in mind as well. But he's got to be hurt. It could be psychological. I mean, the guy he's been playing with for, like, you know, whether you love him or hate him, you have to recognize that Mitch Marner is a great player, and he's playing without him for the first time in years, right? So there could be a little bit of something to that. I'm not going to discredit that, but I think you also, as the captain and a player, have to realize he's gone. Let's get going here, right? Like, you got a lot of time to process that. Joshua was on a breakaway, and I think he either hit the post or just missed the net. That was close. Patrick saying, I'm at work. Thanks, Darius. I appreciate that, of course. No problem. I recognize there might be some people at work or maybe on the go right now. They can't watch the game, sit down, watch the game. So I try to keep you updated with the game. And nice to get different opinions and thoughts on the Leafs while I'm watching as well. we're all here together watching. So it was a lot of fun. And get some fun reactions. There's been some of the watch-alongs I've done this year. I mean, a devastating loss against Washington. There's been a really good shutdown win against Tampa last week. I'm going to try and do one a week. I'm going to do next Tuesday as well because the Leafs, get this, play next Tuesday at 4 p.m. on Tuesday. And they did that last year against the Jets as well. And I believe this game's also against the Jets. So it's a home game at 4 p.m. on the 23rd. So Tuesday I will be live watching along at 4 p.m. That shot did go off the post from Dakota Joshua, by the way. He drove the net hard. He was on a breakaway. Just chipped it off the post and wide. Very close. Very close. I'll get to some more comments in just a second, guys. I see you guys coming in here. You can also see your comments here on the screen, just to my left. Or just to the right of me on screen, I guess. Leafs are throwing a lot of shots on goal, but they don't have a lot of shots toward the goal, but they don't have a lot of shots on the goal, is what I meant. They have one shot on goal. Shots are 2-1 Chicago. Grizzly back with the puck in his own zone. Blackhawks break out. Scott saying, or Patrick saying, too early to give up on the season. I'm not ready to give up on the season. There's a lot of teams that I think should be giving up on their season so far in the league. The Leafs are not one of those teams. We are going to commercial break. Shot off of a shin pad out into the crowd. 9:43 left in the first period here. Shots are 2-1 Chicago. We still have a scoreless game here now. Yeah, I think there's a lot of teams around the league that should be ready to give up and maybe retooling and stuff like that. I mean, what is Buffalo doing? I mean, Buffalo hasn't been Buffalo has not been in any type of high stakes game or relevant since Obama was in office the first time. Like, it's been a while. The world champions at the time of soccer, football, whatever we want to call it. I prefer football actually, but soccer. Spain. It's been a while since they're relevant. A couple teams like that, but yeah, too early for the Leafs. Way too early. They're in the mix though. They're in the mix. You have a good week. You're in. You're in first. Scott saying there's so many possible things going on, but almost none of them have a good outcome for the team. It's tough, man. It's been a weird year. But it's been a weird year around the league. A lot of weird injuries, too. I mean, the Blues' entire lineup is out with injury right now. If you go look at their Puckpedia page, they're all down. They're all down with injuries. Justin saying he's also at work. Shout out to you, Justin, wherever you're watching. Let's get a roll call here, too. Where's everyone watching from? You're watching from Calgary? You're watching from Vancouver? You a Leafs fan out west? You a Leafs fan out east? Shout out to Newfoundland. Shout out to St. John's. Shout out Mount Pearl. Where's everyone watching from? You watching from the States? Let me know here in the chat. Blake Sim saying what I think it is, and we're back from commercial here. We'll be back in just a second. Joseph Wall, by the way, in net for the Leafs tonight, and no Connor Bedard for the Blackhawks. He's out with a separated shoulder. At least that's what the report I saw this morning was. I believe it's a separated shoulder. He's out till the new year. Blake Sim saying what I think it is, it's the coaching. Sheldon Keefe let him do whatever he wanted, but Craig is making him play to win. I do believe there's some of that to it. I mean, Keefe, played to a lot of different players' strengths. So there is, Blackhawks win the faceoff here, and they score. I don't even know who got that, actually. Was it Grizzlick? I believe he took the shot. It is 1-0 Hawks. I'm going to find out who scored this. I'll get back to the comments in just a second. I like your point about Sheldon Keefe. Blakeson. Blackhawks win the faceoff. Comes back to the point. I feel like that was Grizzlick that took the shot. Is that 48? No, 44. Does it go straight in? It looks like it's deflected. Donato might have... No, he definitely didn't deflect that. It hit something and went in. Tominato? Deflected right in front of the net. Nobody tying up his man. 1-0 Chicago. Lots of time, guys. Shots are 4-1 Chicago. So that's not ideal. But we'll see what happens the rest of the game. Can't wait. Please score a goal, Leafs. Nazar has it in now. Chicago, even without Bedard, pretty electric offensively this year. Like a much better team. They're also, I think they're still in the playoff spot right now. It keeps fluctuating in the West. It's crazy. But Blake, I think you have a great point. Keefe really played to a lot of players' strengths, but I think at times it really was their downfall in the playoffs because other teams would figure out, okay, this player is good at this, and the Leafs rely on like 3 guys to do everything. So like Nylander's good at this, neutralize him. Tavares does these things, neutralize him. And then they would just do those things. Like you saw as the series went on, like the team would just figure them out, the top guys, and then they were cooked. It was over. So, that being said, we got an icing here against the Toronto Maple Leafs flow. This game has really opened up a bit, and it's not in the Leafs' favor. So hopefully that does not continue. But I think other teams figured it out easily. Now, Berube has a more consistent and I don't want to say unpredictable. It's so predictable that, like, the Panthers are predictable, what they do. I called it out in the playoffs. We had videos about it where I broke down their forecheck, and we were talking about how the Blackhawks win the draw here. And they take it to the front of the net. Nobody's there. It is still loose in front. It squeaks through wall. This could be a long night. Benoit grabs Dickinson. Looks like there could be a scrap coming here. 2-0 Blackhawks. It just squeaked through. 2-0. Excuse me. I don't know if it was even loose. I mean, they were all scrambling for the puck here, and Mikheyev drives to the front of the net, and then it's just a scramble, and the puck, I guess, was loose, but if they poke his pad here, this shouldn't be a goal. I mean, the puck might be loose, but you can't shove the goalie's pad in this goalie interference now. I don't think that's a goal. We'll see here, guys. We'll see here. I mean, it's a good goal on the ice, but the puck is also between Wool's legs, and then it gets poked into the net. I'm not sure that's going to count. I would probably challenge this, I think. I would challenge this. Shoves his pad in. Yeah, I would challenge that. I hope the Leafs would challenge this. I think they are going to challenge it. Shots are 7-1 Chicago now. 7-1. But back to Berube's... Looks like they're going to challenge here. Back to Berube. You know, his play style, like what he wants the team to do, is so predictable. And the Panthers are too, but it works because they're relentless. The Leafs' problem is they're not relentless. They don't follow what he's preaching, and they don't execute on it. If they were, they would find success. The skill would then shine through. You do something consistently. You smash into their defense every single time. You dump the puck and smash, smash, smash. Wear them down. By game 5, they got nothing left. The skill will shine through. The Leafs are challenging this, by the way, for goaltender interference, and they should absolutely win this because he pushed his pad in the net. Sorry, he didn't push his pad in the net. He pushed his pad with the puck in between his legs, and the puck went into the net. That is not a goal. That's goalie interference. I've seen this so many times last year and this year be called back. If this is not called back, he didn't shove him in the net, but he shoved his pad and he had the puck. All right, overturn. No goal. 1-0. We're back to 1. That was goalie interference, guys. Like, that's... They got it right. They got it right. I don't know why I'm so fired up. They got it right. It's not a goal. Not a goal. 1-0 Blackhawks. We're back. We're back. 8:33. Berube is absolutely giving it to somebody right now on the bench. Oh, he's giving it to everybody. He just told the team we have 1 effing shot on goal. Yelling at everyone. He's going up and down the bench saying we have 1 effing shot on goal. Now he's quiet. He calmed down a little bit. Just a reminder. He's just putting it in their ear. Come on, boys. Let's get going. You got 1 shot here. But I think that's really the main problem here. That they do not execute on what Berube is telling them to do and be relentless at it. To win the Stanley Cup, you must be relentless. That is the problem. And I think it's a mental issue. You got to do it. You just got to do it. You just got to do it. 8:26 left. Shots are now 7-1 for the Blackhawks. They took one off the board. They gave it right back. Because, of course, the goal was taken back. Patrick saying, I'm usually a positive Leafs fan, but if they lose tonight, they're finished. It is certainly possible, my friend. It doesn't look good. Guys, we're almost at the new year. Christmas is next week. They're not in playoff spot. Leafs first line is out there. Leafs first line tonight is Matthews up the middle. You got Nyes on the left and Nylander on the right. So that line has been put back together since early season struggles. Nyes gets taken down. Matthews back into the zone. That looked offside. And it is offside. Nice slowly getting up, going to the bench. What happened here? That... Yeah, kind of a... Not really a shove from behind. Like, you kind of got... I don't know. That was weird. I wouldn't say that was a hit from behind. Awkward play. And then fell into the boards. Robertson chasing the puck. He beats out the icing. Back to the point. To Benoit. Benoit, big slap shot. Oh, big save by Spencer Knight. Tavares was in front. McMahon grabs or turns the puck over. Sorry, that was the wrong wording. He forces a turnover. Grabs the puck back. Same with Robertson. Leafs are better on their puck retrievals here. Puck back into the zone. And dumped deep, and the Leafs are getting a change, except for McMahon that gives chase. I love when players do that. I hate it when they dump it in and all three peel off for a change. One guy stay and chase, and you can change after. You just got to be ready. You got to be on your toes, man. Be ready on the bench. Make that quick change. He doesn't have to get to the bench before you jump on. Puck gets dumped into the Leaf zone. Woll stops it and almost gives it away. Troy Stetcher gets a big hit. What's up, Nevin? Nevin? Nevin or Nevin? I think it's Nevin. Puck back into the Chicago zone. Chicago has controlled much of this first period, excuse me. Offside at the Toronto zone. I believe we are going to commercial here. I'm incorrect. We are staying. Matthews and Nylander look much faster tonight. This is from Profit. Nylander for sure, and Matthews, I'm not sure if it's because he's not against McDavid, but still looking good. McDavid is quick, guys. Like, don't compare anybody to him or McKinnon. The Nylander thing, I think, is just because he's not battling the flu, probably. He was sick the other night. You could see it. I was watching some of the clips, him on the bench. Did not look well. And he said he was sick, and I mean... Do you want Michelli, who's been struggling and cold, over Nylander, who, like, has that skill? Or, you know... Tanev is not in this game. He was practicing. He was practicing in a regular jersey, so he's nearing a return. But, I feel like I would have noticed Tanev if he was playing tonight. Henry Thrun is still in the lineup for the Leafs. Big fan of Henry Thrun. Watched him live a couple weeks ago. Or I guess a week and a half ago at this point. I watched the Marlies live. He was quarterback in the power play. He looked really... Oh, Lawton forces a turnover, and he gets a shot and draws a penalty. The Leafs go to the first power play of the game. Color me shocked. The Leafs, first of all, A, get a power play, and B, nice play by Lawton here. He makes that move, the same move every time. He puts the puck in his feet, and it's hard to defend him there, but... once they come back from commercial, we are headed to the power play, ladies and gentlemen. Love Scott Lawton. Great trade. Will always be on that bandwagon. But yeah, no Tanev yet, but he... Yeah, and Profit, like, if Michelli's not getting into that game on Saturday, what game is he getting into? If Nylander is sick with the flu, he's throwing up, and he's still getting into the lineup over Michelli, call it quits, call it a day, and call another GM, because you need to make a trade. I think you could still trade him now. I think you can. He's shown enough so far this season, at least to me and to other teams. Like, there were so many teams that wanted him this summer, and look what he did last year. So to me, like, I think you can get the same amount of value back. I think you'd be fine in that regard. I think there's teams that would want him. So I don't think it's that bad. The big one to me is if you want to trade Max Domi, because that was another report that was out there today that we're going to cover in a video coming up this week. Max Domi is on the trade block, and I don't think anybody wants him. That is a bigger story. So, and I don't think he's on the trade block in terms of like Treliving's calling teams every day. Like, hey, do you want Max Domi? Do you want Max Domi? Can I interest you in Max Domi? Like, I don't think that's happening every day. But I think he's like, you know, if they're talking trades and floating things out, like he's like, hey, you know, Max could be available. I just don't know where he fits in this team anymore. But he shows up in the playoffs. I don't know, man. I don't know. And he always has, like any other team. Oh, Prophet, I know. I can't believe... I definitely wasn't the biggest Kyle Dubas hater in the world, but that was one move where I was like, do we see the sport the same way? Because I was like, there's no way we do. So, could never understand why he was traded in the first place. Leafs on the power play. I was listening to, I believe it was Sam McKee on the radio last week. It might have been 2 weeks ago. And he was talking about the Leafs power play. I wish I had this stat available, but I remember hearing this. And it's happening before my very eyes right now. 2-on-1 for the Chicago Blackhawks. And they score on the 2-on-1. So this is literally playing into the point that I'm going to make. And I'll let this run for a bit here. The Blackhawks scoring a 2-on-1 on shorthanded. Just horrendous. Just horrendous. Why? Okay, I have a question. Why is the second unit's zone entries cleaner than the first? What are we doing? I have a rule change proposition for the NHL. Make it like the NFL. Can I decline a penalty? I want to start declining penalties. Okay, so the Leafs back here on the power play. 1:20 left in this power play. The point I wanted to make, Sam McKee was saying on the radio, the Leafs in the league are one of the worst teams in terms of spending time in the offensive zone on the power play. They don't even give themselves an opportunity to score on the power play. It's not the power play is bad. It is bad in that regard. They can't get into the zone, the first unit. They can't. If you watch the second unit, it is so much more seamless. It's going to happen here. Look, and they're in. They're in the zone. Second unit's in the zone. Just like that. Just like that. We'll see if they maintain possession. But the Leafs are one of the worst teams in terms of offensive zone time on the power play. They don't even give themselves a shot to score. They spend no time in the offensive zone on the power play. That's unheard of. First unit's back out. Like Matthews is back out. I don't even know what we're doing here. Brube's just looking for anything at this point. But look how aggressive the Leafs are so reactionary, it's sickening. It's sickening. Another 2-on-1 for Chicago here. Nazar. Wall makes that save. Another 2-on-1. And the puck is up and out of play. I don't either, Scott. I don't either. It's almost like they're not dangerous at all. This is all a mindset thing. They're just not. And why is Nylander the last man back on that last play and Riley's on the ice? There's a reason Riley's on the ice, so at least you have a defenseman on the ice for these situations. This is awful. Now, I was doing a watch-along earlier this year where they were down 3-0 to the Penguins, and they won that game in regulation. So I'm holding out hope still. This is who I am as a Leafs fan. You just gotta, oh, maybe, right? 2 shots for the Leafs on that power play. And it's done. Full strength here. Got 3 minutes left here in the first period. I would give more ice time to, like, the fourth line, man. Like, Lorentz is moving out there. Why is Lorentz... Or give him a... Robertson with an interesting play. Flips it in from over center. Almost icing. Was not, though. Give Scott Laughton more ice time. I'm starting a petition tomorrow. He's drawing penalties. He's like actually driving play. And this guy makes almost the, like, I don't know where he ranks on the team. Probably like near the end. Prophet saying, what's the likelihood Skinner gets a shutout? You know he wants it in that one. This is going to be the most locked in Stuart Skinner you've ever seen in your life. And he's played in Stanley Cup Finals. Dalmasha with a shot from the corner. Domi with one of the most horrific giveaways I can remember. I mean, they're dead mentally right now. This is awful. Get to the intermission. Do not give up a third one. Just get to the intermission. This is the point we're at right now. This team is going to crawl to the first intermission. Just get there. This is awful. What was Domi doing in that corner? And then he spinorama back. Oh, seen that before. Spinorama backhand passes to nowhere? To the middle of the ice? I've seen that before. But, that was horrendous. Get off the ice. Riley has the puck in his own zone now. He gets it up, tipped. Knight plays it up to his defenseman. The Blackhawks will change. They dump it into the Leafs zone. Leafs try to break out. Nylander with the puck now. He's skating out to center. Off to Austin Matthews. Back to Nylander with somebody draped all over him. That was a bad idea to pass it back. Then I was making some interesting moves in the corner. Looks like he might win this puck battle. Troy Stetcher wins it. Troy Stetcher's been awesome. And then he turns the puck over because everyone's bunching. Nice is trying to get it out. Too many turnovers. Too many turnovers. Oh, Nice just laid somebody out at center ice. Nice open ice hit. I think it was Ryan Donato. And then he gets off the ice. And I believe that's offside at the Leafs line. And it is. Nice hit by Nice. Trying to get the guys going, I guess. But here's the other thing now. Like, this team needs some juice heading into the second period because they are dead in the water right now in this period. Wow, the Blackhawks came really close to scoring that third one on the 2-on-1. That's a big hit. That can kind of get the boys going, right? You got to carry that into the second period. Did they carry that into the third period last game? Nope. Nope. The Leafs were at home against the Oilers. They should have came out and dictated the way that third period was going to go, and they didn't do any of that. Nice save by Wool. And that was just last game. So do I have any faith right now that they're going to come out and dictate the second period? Nope. See what happens, though. Type Y in the chat. Type just Y in the chat if the Leafs need to make a trade. 2-0 Blackhawks after 1. The period just wrapping up here. And that's it. The first period is done. 2-0 Blackhawks. And the shots also favoring the Chicago Blackhawks. Horrendous first period. Type Y if the Leafs need to make a trade to get this team going. This is not ideal. I know they're missing Cristana, but holy smokes, guys. This is tough. There's Scott with the Y. We got yeses coming in here. We got what? Yeses coming in. So to start like this after last game, only the Leafs. This is the thing. Why aren't they ready to play? This is your job. This is what you do. This is your job. If I was Berube, I would just leave the arena and go home, honestly. Like, he looked stressed, man. Like, this guy... This is a guy who's coached in Stanley Cup Finals, and he looks more stressed tonight. No, but why can't Matthews be like Draisaitl? If whatever he's dealing with is slowing his speed, it doesn't have to force him to stop scoring. I know. And maybe what he's dealing with is hurting his shot. I don't know what it is, man. He has no... Why would he pass off there? I've never seen Austin Matthews do that. In the neutral zone. Absolutely ridiculous. Well, guys, we're in the intermission here. Got some stuff planned for the intermission and the second intermission as well. I asked you guys to type Y in the chat for a very specific reason. If the Leafs should make a trade. And there's been a lot of trade talk the last little while. There's been some new reports about also without the disallowed goal, could have been 3-0 Blackhawks, and on that 2-on-1, it could be 4-0 Blackhawks. So this is not going well. And hopefully the Leafs figure it out in the second period. But the reason I asked for the whys in the chat is because there's been a lot of trade chatter. A lot of talk about Michelli. A lot of trade talk about Max Domi. And Nick and I give our thoughts here in just a second on, some of these new reports. Because there's two players in particular I think the Leafs could target here for Michelli that would make a ton of sense and make the team a little bit better and maybe fit in more with their play style. But ultimately, I don't know if it would be enough to get it over the line. But anyway, take a listen here. I'll be back in just a few minutes. We'll gear up for the second period. Get ready and lock in for this second period because this is exactly what Berube is telling the boys in the locker room right now. A lot of these guys need to be better. The top guys need to be better. But could a trade be on the horizon for the Leafs? I think it's definitely Michelli and maybe it's Domi. Let me know your thoughts in the chat. And Nick and I have some very interesting thoughts here. So let us know what you think in the chat. I'll be back in just a few minutes.
This was inevitable as Elliot Friedman has just dropped a massive trade report surrounding the Leafs that not only has fans very intrigued, but has huge implications going forward. To break down this new report and discuss what it means not only as the Leafs prepare for a crucial stretch of games, but as the trade deadline inches closer and closer and creeps upon us. Ton to go over on this episode, folks, and reports are starting to pick up. But before you get into it all, if you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, quick reminder, hit the subscribe button. Now, Darius, we know the deadline is a ways away, but moves are happening. We saw a trade happen just yesterday. Trades are really starting to pick up across the NHL, and the Leafs are heavily involved in a lot of those talks. And let's dive right into it here. So Elliot Friedman on his 32 Thoughts podcast from yesterday said that Matias Michelli hasn't been playing and it hasn't worked out in Toronto so far. And he says that Boston was interested last season and wonders if they still may be interested since they are looking for a scoring winger. Now we're going to dive into another trade proposal that has dropped as well here. But Darius, this was inevitable. With each game that passed, it's more and more likely that Michelli is going to be gone at some point here soon, which is crazy to say. Now, there is a chance they keep him, ride it out, but they really haven't given him any playing time as of late. And now when Elliot Friedman says things like this, maybe they try to flip him at the deadline or even before the deadline in the next couple of weeks. I can't imagine Michelli's camp is happy about it, and then see what they can get for him. And we'll dive into some players, but Boston is named here, which is interesting. A pretty big report from Elliot Friedman.
And not just Boston. We knew at the time when the Leafs acquired him that there were multiple teams in on that trade scenario. And the Leafs, I guess maybe had the best offer. I don't know exactly what it was, but the Leafs ended up getting him. But there was multiple other teams interested in his services as well. And obviously things haven't gone to plan. He hasn't been that good, although, he has 9 points so far this season, but he hasn't been playing as of late. And even when McMahon got suspended, he didn't get back into the lineup, right? He's like that far down the lineup at this point, that far down the ladder. So it looks like he won't return to the lineup anytime soon at this point. I mean, maybe he could, but I think there would have to be even more injuries than there already is at this point. So he's in the doghouse, that is for sure. It hasn't gone to plan. And it looks like the Leafs could be exploring trade options right now and could be circling back with some teams that did have interest last summer on this player. And I'm sure that he wants to play in his camp. Like you mentioned, they're not happy. I'm sure they want this to get done sooner rather than later if it is heading this way. So they don't have to wait till the trade deadline. He can actually get some games under his belt so he can earn another contract as well, right? So, again, I was a big fan of this trade. I thought it was going to work out a lot better, but then based on some of the other moves that they made, I mean, once you see it in action on the ice in the preseason, you're like, okay, maybe he works on the third line, but he hasn't really offered much this season. And obviously there's been injuries and he had to go up and down the lineup, and Berube just doesn't see a spot for him. So you have to pivot. And, sometimes you just have to do these things. You have to pivot and look for another option. I feel like there are some out there that Elliot Friedman has revealed as well.
Yeah, you have to hope that he can still has some value. I mean, a couple of years removed from 57 points, 49 points. He was a really good player. Last year got scratched a lot in Utah, requested a trade. He came out, and this year he's only on track for a little bit more than what he had last year if you prorated to 82 games. But his cap hit's $3.25 million, and Elliot Friedman mentioned Marchment as another name to watch, and could a Michelli-Marchment swap make sense? Both have struggled, and the latter fits the Leaf system better. Both were moved for similar draft capital, and Marchment has 11 points in 26 games. Their value is probably comparable. And this is where things become interesting, because you look at Marchment here, 2 goals, 9 assists for 11 points in 26 games. Michelli, 22 games, 9 points. So very similar, but the play styles, you'd have to imagine that not only would Mason Marchment fit better under Berube's system, but he's also a veteran in the sense of he's been in the league for a lot longer, and he hasn't been in the league for a crazy amount of time, of course, making his debut way back in 2019 with actually the Toronto Maple Leafs. What makes things interesting here is he probably would fit the Leafs system better, but he's also had a much bigger track record, and yes, the value is probably similar, though I would assume the Leafs may have to throw something in here, but I like this idea a lot. And if you're the Leafs, I'm sure they much prefer Mason Marchment over Maccelli at this point because he would be an upgrade on that fourth line.
A lot of this makes sense to me. Like you said, and like Elliot Friedman pointed out, Mason Marchment fits the system a lot better, the Toronto Maple Leaf system. He would probably be in the lineup every night. And then you can free up McMahon, and he can go up the lineup instead of playing on the third line. So that makes a lot of sense. In terms of the salary, you're going to have to move some things around because Marchment makes $4.5 million, so a little bit more than Maccelli. He's also in the last year of his deal. We know that the Leafs also had interest in him last summer, and it didn't go through because Seattle won the bid or whatever it was. There was a couple of teams interested, and they ended up having the best trade package, so he was traded to Seattle instead. And I don't know why he was ever traded from the Leafs in the first place. I don't know why Dubas ever made that move. He should have never been traded. He should have always been a Maple Leaf. He's the perfect player. He's 6'5". He's a decent skater, and he's an initiator on the ice. He's one of those Brad Marchand types who get in your face. We saw it earlier this season. He was causing a ruckus against the Leafs when they played Seattle just a month ago at this point, or over a month ago. He's that type of player, and they need more of that mindset in the lineup from their own guys, first of all, but he is one of those guys. So he has struggled, and that's the other reason why I think this could make sense. Maccelli has struggled, and he's struggled. Seattle's trying to add some more scoring. They're lower in the standings in terms of league wide. They're one of the worst teams in the league right now. It could make sense in terms of just a roster for roster trade, which is exactly what Treliving came out and said would make the most sense for the Leafs. So I think it makes a lot of sense. I don't know why he was ever traded from the Leafs. I think he's a perfect fit for the Leafs. But again, he's not going to score an insane amount of points. He's not going to come in and put up 70 points or anything, but he just fits the system better. And what Berube is preaching, he does exactly those things. He's, a tough player that gets to those areas, and he's a big boy that can put the puck in the back of the net. So makes a lot of sense to me. They might get a little bit slower, but hey, if Maccelli's not playing, he's not in the lineup anyway, then adding Marchment's not a bad idea.
Yeah, and obviously they gave up a fairly early draft pick for Matias Maccelli, which means if you do a 1-for-1, it still doesn't look bad optics-wise. You basically just give up the same pick for Mason Marchment. Whereas if you have to give up more assets, or you trade Maccelli for a 6th-round pick or 7th or something that's significantly higher up in the draft than what they gave up, it could look a little bit worse in that regard. So that's why a 1-for-1 swap makes sense. Freeman came out and did say that that's what they're looking at, player for player, whether that be through Nick Robertson, whether that be through someone else. Who knows? They could still trade Robertson, but both players, similar the past couple years, struggled years before that. Now, Marchment had a pretty good year last year, but just in general, they've had years where they're really good, and then this year they've been really bad. And that's applicable here for both Maccelli and Marchment. But also, if you're the Kraken, they aren't necessarily, they're trying to win, obviously, but they're not as in win now mode as the Leafs are. 5-year difference. Mason Marchment's 30, pending free agent. And then for Maccelli, they'd have rights to keep him if they want to. He's a RFA after this year. So there's a lot of things that make sense here. And let us know down below what your thoughts are. And of course, Boston could be interested. And this was the quote here. You mentioned it, but it's believed that the Leafs weren't the only team that inquired about Maccelli before last summer. So some of those teams may circle back. So there'll probably be a lot of interest now, whether or not the value is there. There's been some rumblings about Mangiapane for Maccelli because the Oilers almost traded Arvidsson for Maccelli last year. And then, of course, they were in on Maccelli last summer. We'll probably have a full video covering that as things get closer. But seems like a match made in heaven here. Not necessarily Mangiapane, but more so Mason Marchment. But there is a lot of ways that things can go, especially where you look at that lineup now. And of course, this was the lineup from a couple of games ago. McMahon's going to be back, but you add in, and whether that's replacing, in this case, of course, it'd probably be Yarncroft, whether that's replacing Nick Robertson with Marchment and then moving people up and down, it would make the team better, I think, at this point. And that's what they're looking for without having to give up draft capital, which they don't really have at this point anyways.
Yeah, and I think if you were to acquire Mason Marchment in this way, Mangiapane, I think, makes a little bit more sense because he has control. Obviously, he's a longer contract at this point. It's obviously only 1 year longer, but still, you have that control for next year, and the money makes a little bit more sense. It's closer to what Maccelli makes, so that could make some more sense, but he's a different player. He's a different type of player. Marchment makes a lot of sense because if you want, you could put McMahon on the second line, and then you could put Marchment on the third line. You know exactly what you're getting out of that third line, but they might be a little bit slow, so maybe you could put Marchment with Nylander. That could make some sense. You got a body in front of the net for Nylander and Tavares to do their thing, right? Like that, I think would fit this team a little bit better. We know Marchman can play if needed in a top six, but he's also versatile that he could play on a third line, something like that. So to go back to, I don't know why he was ever traded from the Leafs. He should have been here the whole time. But I think that, you know, he's a player that would make a difference if traded for. And Michelli's not playing anyway at this point. He's not making a difference when he does play. I had high hopes for him, but I just don't know where he fits in the lineup because the Leafs went ahead and made some other moves in the meantime too, right? So it's pretty interesting. I think ultimately there's going to be a decision made soon because I don't think either party wants to wait for the trade deadline. But I do wonder, you know, if he ever does end up getting back into the lineup at this point.
Yeah, let us know down below your thoughts. There are a lot of things happening. We'll keep you up to date every step of the way. Thank you guys for watching. See you later. It's confirmed as we have a huge new report that has dropped from Elliot Friedman revealing the future of Matias Maccelli and one other Leaf that has fans very intrigued. But not only that, trade reports are really starting to drop, including a new report revealing an absolute steal of a Leafs trade. Ton to go over on this episode, folks. But before we get into it all, if you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, you guys have been an absolute piece of the support. It means the world to Darius and myself. Darius, we've had a video recently on Matias Maccelli being scratched, all these different things, constantly healthy scratched. And some new reports have dropped revealing some very intriguing information. It all stems from, of course, in a recent practice, Maccelli, of course, being out with illness. He hasn't been playing. But then Elliot Friedman has dropped another report. In case you missed our video from a few days ago, we'll, of course, bring it back up. But he says some other names to keep an eye on as they fight for lineup time is a player on the Islanders, but most importantly to us, Matias Maccelli. And this is something now that has been brewing for a few days, really a few weeks. You think back to the report we covered a few days ago when he said that Matias Maccelli hasn't been playing and it hasn't worked out in Toronto, but he says that Boston was interested last season and wonders if they still may be interested since they are looking for a scoring winger. So Darius, with him being, you know, of course, we're not going to blame him for being sick, but he has been missing time a lot. He's been healthy, scratched a ton, has only played 22 games this year, hasn't performed great. A new report just hours ago talking about from Elliot Friedman that Matias Maccelli is a name to keep an eye out on. Things are starting to line up. We're going to dive into a report surrounding Max Domi and others, and we'll dive into a trade as well. His future clearly at this point is in jeopardy, and like we mentioned before, teams are going to start circling back.
I have a hard time believing that Maccelli is going to make it through the season as a Leaf at this point for a couple of reasons. Obviously, I don't know what this guy has to do to get back in the lineup at this point. Berube clearly doesn't trust him, doesn't really like him mixed in with the lineup right now. There would have to be a lot of injuries for him to get in. There was a lot of illnesses on Saturday, and he still didn't get into the lineup. We talked about it yesterday that, you know, I'm sure he's sick. Like, I don't think they're lying about that or anything. But even if he wasn't, he was practicing. I don't think he's getting into that game, right? So, or their next game. So, all of that being said, I mean, mixed in with the fact that there are other teams that were also interested at the same time as the Leafs, and they won the bid or whatever that looked like at the time. And that other teams would want, you know, his services. I think at this point still, he's a relatively young scoring winger and not necessarily a goal scorer, but he can put up points. He's a really good playmaker. I think he has great vision. And of course, I don't know if that fits in with what Craig Berube wants to do with the lineup because he's not playing him, obviously, but I do think that there could be other teams interested. So this is going to continue to develop here. I have a hard time believing at this point, and I'm leaving my feelings aside right now. I'm just telling you guys, like, I don't think he's going to finish the season as a Leaf. I do like this player. I think if I was the coach, and I'm not, he would be in the lineup. I think that he has use, but you have to find a spot for him to play. And usually, you know, when a new guy comes in like this, and with the rocky season that he had last year, because of course he was put on the fourth line, he wanted to leave, all of those things from Utah, and then you bring him into this situation, you put him on as short of a leash as you have, it's going to be hard to produce and to perform, right? So he hasn't been able to find a spot in the lineup yet, and I don't know if he's going to ever again find a spot in this lineup.
Yeah, one of the reasons he requested a trade last year out of Utah was for playing time and put down the fourth line, and now he's in Toronto and he's scratched. But this has opened up the Michael Bunting talks, and there's been some reports, mainly rumors floating around, some articles that have dropped revealing, hey, could the Leafs do a swap? Michael Bunting for Matias Maccelli, and of course, figure the rest out from there. This is where things start to become, and it's picked up over the last few days, especially with the reports that have dropped, actually revealing they're trading him. A Michael Bunting for Matias Maccelli swap. And I would personally be a fan of this. Of course, I talked about it, how I think it would be a steal, just because it's not a steal because Bunting is crazy good, that much better than Matias Maccelli. But Matias Maccelli is not playing, and getting somebody who can play in the fourth line, potentially play in the third line, and getting value out of, I mean, we know there's been tons of talks about how, according to Elliot Freeman and other reporters, the Leafs are trying to do a player-for-player trade right now just to kind of help both sides. We had one the other day on Mason Marchment, which would also make a ton of sense. I want to get your thoughts on this. Michael Bunting, of course, former Toronto Maple Leaf, potentially making a return to Toronto here, and it's a rumor that started to pick up because kind of makes sense from both sides of the coin. Obviously, for Nashville, Bunting's a little bit older. Maccelli has potential, and I think untapped potential at that. And for the Leafs, you get somebody who, of course, at this point in time, would be an upgrade over Matias Maccelli. You'd have to assume there, especially with all the press box players that they've had this year and injuries. Maccelli's the guy who's making $3.5 million constantly on the outside looking in. But I would love this. It would be a steal if they'd be able to pull this off without giving up additional, significant assets.
I think this would make a lot of sense. Like you mentioned, Bunting is a lot older. I think Nashville is starting to realize they have to get younger, and what they did in free agency last year did not work. It has not worked, and it's continuing to not work. So I think they want to get a little bit younger. Maccelli's, again, somebody that I think can go into their lineup and make some noise. Bunting coming over in a trade like this, he would be in the lineup. Maccelli has not been in the lineup. Bunting would be in this lineup. We know that he can play in the top six. He's done it before. He's quite literally played with Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner in the past. So maybe you put him on the top line with Austin Matthews and Matthew Nyes, and that allows William Nylander to go back to the second line. You can figure out the rest. I think this could make a lot of sense. We know what Bunting brings to the table in terms of, is he as skilled as Maccelli? I don't think so in terms of raw skill, right? But we know what he brings to the table. He is not, and I keep saying this about this team, they're a reactionary team. This is not a reactionary player, right? This is a guy who goes out, and we know what he's done in the playoffs, right? Like, he's a bit of a pest. You need guys like that sometimes. You need your top players to be like that, because if you look at Florida, their top players are like that. That's what makes a successful team. But you could use a little bit of more of that in the lineup. I always
myself
like
off from the past here in this video, but some great insight from both Nick and myself on some of the trade scenarios that could be happening. But we are back for the second period. The puck is about to drop. Both teams are lined up here. We have the third line starting for the Leafs here. Berube left the bench hot in the first period. There was also, earlier in the period, he was going up and down the bench, yelling at the team. How do we only have one shot? The panel was saying during the intermission, I didn't even realize this, in the month of December, ladies and gentlemen, we're 16 days in. Puck has dropped, by the way. I'll fix the score here in a sec, or sorry, the clock here for you guys. My apologies. But the Leafs have actually been outscored on their power play. So for the month of December, they've been outscored 2-1 on their own power play. That is horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. But we're underway here for the second period. I'll get to some of what you guys were saying the last little while as well. But puck is pinned behind the Leafs net here. Thrown back to the point. I mean, the Leafs need to have a better result here. I see a lot of what you guys were saying during the intermission. This is a must-win game. I mean, this is an embarrassing if you lose this game. The Blackhawks, yes, they're not like an AHL team. They have some players. They have some good young players. But they're without Connor Bedard tonight. And this is Joe Bowen night. Give a general F, please. Please give a general. Try not to, try to keep it PG on the channel. And I apologize if you're watching with your kids right now. I know a lot of people do watch our videos with, in the background, their kids are around. Please give a general shit. Please. Just a general one. It doesn't even have to be a special one. Just give a general shit. Please. About your effort, man. A lot of people saying this team doesn't have it. Nylander to Nyes, great play. Denied by Spencer Knight. That was a very good play. Nice bang play there at the side of the net. That would have been very nice. The Leafs are like a slow mule suffering from a collective depression. That is certainly one way to put it. That was very articulate. Patrick saying I'm usually very positive, but it's tough to spin this one. Definitely. This is not looking good. Scott is saying that the Oilers already have 2 shots on 5 goals, so that Skinner shutout bid is long gone. That is actually genuinely hilarious. I hope nothing but the best for Stuart Skinner, but that is genuinely hilarious. A lot of people are saying why still. Frida saying why. We got to get a trade going here, guys.
Patrick saying it's too early to give up. Sam Habs is saying, and covered up here on the side of the net by Spencer Knight. Great chance to open the period from William Nylander to Matthew Nyes at the side of the net. It was a great play by Matthews driving the net as well. He takes the defender with him, and then Nyes was wide open in front for that pass to come across, but ultimately big save by Spencer Knight there as Nyes tries to slip it through either the 5-hole or down low. But Sam Habs is saying, I hope you guys will do a great rebuild like the Habs to bring back the great rivalry. Much love from Montreal, go Canada. Yeah, I feel like the rivalry is honestly fine. Tight game the other day. Leafs have dominated for the last couple of years, and the Habs had their time as well. But I like it when both teams are competitive. I would agree with that. It's a lot more fun that way. AAAMM 4010 is saying they can lose every game. I don't care anymore. Really? Has it reached that level? Berube dropping the hammer. The players don't give an F. It's true. It's true. Yeah, they don't. It's the give an F meter. Very low always for the Leafs. I don't understand it. So many other teams have a very high motor in that way. The Leafs don't, and I don't understand it, and I never will. I never will. I don't get it. Patrick saying, wake the F up. The Power don't play. Scott saying, I've been sticking up for this team all day, and they're making me look like shit. Brian saying, let's go Blackhawks. I was expecting some Blackhawks fans to be in the chat here tonight. We got an icing call against the Toronto Maple Leafs coming back into the Leafs zone. This has been a tough one, guys. Like, there are very minimal, maybe even less than this, positives to take from this game tonight. Very minimal. I mean, they're only down by 2 in the face-off department. Hooray! Hooray! Leafs giving chase here in the offensive zone. Puck is behind the Blackhawks net. The first line is coming out here on a change. McCabe dumps it in. Leafs give chase. Matthews in on the forecheck. Gives it to Nyes. He gets a opportunity here. He puts it in front to Matthews. Matthews couldn't get it. Stetcher puts it towards the net. It's blocked by somebody in front. Bertuzzi's also in there. He's swatting at it. Nylander has it behind the net. Puck is not moving for Nylander tonight. Not good. Another turnover by Nylander at the line. Chicago coming back the other way, but the Leafs look like they're going to regain control here. McCabe spins it to Nylander. Nylander out the center. He gets it and rifles it over to Nyes. Nyes turns it over at the line as well. This has been sloppy. Teravainen to Mikheyev. Oh, he just misses. No shot. Leafs take it back to center. Tavares. Brian saying, cheers from Illinois. Hawks fans have no hard feelings with you boys. Wish Matthews and the boys the best. Merry Christmas, Leafs fans. Merry Christmas to you, Brian. No ill to you either. I am, Blackhawks have never done anything to the Leafs, so wish you continued success. I hope Connor Bedard is back and healthy very soon, and hope you guys actually make the playoffs this year, because I know it's been so hard not making the playoffs with all those Stanley Cups. But, puck out of play there, but wishing you the best, and hope you have a very Merry Christmas as well. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate it. Even if you are cheering for the opposition tonight, and the Leafs really need a goal here on the board ASAP. The Leafs need a goal yesterday. This is getting into dangerous territory against a very good goalie in Spencer Knight, who I have on my fantasy team, and I know that he's very good for that reason. He picks up an absurd amount of points for me every night that he plays, so need that. Need a goal here. Face off to the left of Spencer Knight here in the offensive zone for the Leafs. That looked like a botched face off, but here we go. Merry Christmas, everybody. Seeing it in the chat here. Patrick, Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy holidays. Hope everyone has some plans next week. You're staying safe. You're staying healthy. It's now 2-1 Edmonton. First intermission in that game. Puck in the Leafs zone. OEL is looking to break it out. He kind of got it. Well, he got it to center. Cowan has it now. Lawton puts it in. Cowan giving chase. This is depressing to watch. I mean, a coaching change would certainly make things more interesting and certainly more exciting, right? But is a coaching change what this team needs? Right? Like in the big picture, like, I don't know, maybe. Some teams, it's worked for some teams. You think of like the Penguins and Dan Bylsma. So it's interesting. We are headed to a commercial break. The Blackhawks still leading in the shot department. It's 2-0 Blackhawks with 13:41 left in this second period. The clock is slowly but surely ticking away on the Leafs here in this one. And it's getting hairy. It's getting hairy. It does not look good. You go too long without a goal here, I mean, it's gonna bleed over to the third. Spencer Knight looks locked in. You're not in a good way. You're not making life difficult for anybody on the Blackhawks. That's a tough combination. That is a tough combination. Arnie's saying this management team took a first-place division-leading team and put them in 6th place. Well, not entirely true. I mean, this was Treliving's team last year. He brought in Domi. He brought in the goaltending and Stolars. Berube, I just saw the clip of Berube again yelling at the bench. Literally like a house league coach. Please, guys. Please. We have one shot. We have one shot, guys. Please. Come on. He didn't do that. He was more yelling at the entire bench. But, like, come on, man. A lot of people are saying that the Leafs look like a team that's just wanting the coach to get fired. This is not on Berube, man. This is the players. The Uber Eats commercial. Yep, I agree. I've never been this frustrated on a stream before. I don't know if I'm showing it. I'm genuinely like, they're caught up in shots, 11 apiece now. But this is just horrific to watch. And like, are you gonna reward these guys with a different coach? Is that the next? That's the next move. That's the answer. I don't think so, man. Who's gonna? Who? Pete DeBoer? What's he gonna do for this team? There's a penalty coming to, I believe it might be the Leafs here. Dakota Joshua is getting a penalty for high sticking. Dakota Joshua for high sticking. Oh yeah, the defense is horrible. They have some injuries, but like Brandon Carlo would come in and make a difference, you know? Like that would be the difference maker. Yeah, there's no urgency on the power play either. And that's the issue. Their issue is urgency. It's not even the fundamentals, man. It's give a shit. You can see it. You can see it. We've seen it for so long with certain guys. Papa Polly, what's up, man? How you doing tonight? I hope you're doing well. Merry Christmas. Easier to change the coach and the GM than the entire team. And I know, and Brad Treliving's talked about that. He said literally that in the past. Besides the changing the coach thing. But he said you can't airdrop in new players. It's got to happen slowly. But good grief, man. This team was botched years ago. The mental aspect of this. Oh, just... Who was that, Lawton? Give this guy more ice time. Get Lawton on the first line. On the penalty kill, he gets a shot in, and it almost goes in. Just squeaked through the other side. I'm going to stop watching this team if Lawton's still on the fourth line. He needs more ice time. He's the only guy that looks like he cares. Okay, maybe not the only guy, but one of the only guys that looks like he cares. Good stick in the neutral zone there by Waugh. Waugh Matthews now out for the penalty killers. It's in the corner. Benoit is fighting for it. Scott, now there's an idea. Maybe they should just go on the penalty kill the entire game, and maybe Lawton will get more ice time and more scoring opportunities because he's the only one creating any chances tonight. And it's only been one chance. Maybe that Nylander to Nyes play. That's it. That is it tonight. Oh, this looks ugly. This looks really ugly. Papa Pauly thinks the Leafs are finished. Well, it's looking very possible. Listen, Chicago's not as bad as they used to be. Take it with a grain of salt, but Papa Pauly thinks he's figured this team out. I'm very interested. I'm very interested. Because nobody's been able to figure them out. Scott, the thought process behind that, I think, originally going back to last year, is some of the top guys, if they're making that much money, they need to be able to play in all situations. But I totally agree with that. Why is Matthews on the penalty kill? And then, like, at the end of the game, Matthews played, like, 24 minutes, or, you know, on average or whatever, like 24 minutes, and you have Lawton, like, 8 minutes. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And then Lawton, half of his time is on the penalty kill, which he's a penalty killer, but he's only one, like, driving play, too. Like, get in deep, get after it. Let's go. He's that type of player, and that, I don't know, whatever. Oh, boy, the puck is right in front, and it's a mad scramble, and it's cleared. Dakota Joshua the other way to Steven Laurent. He's driving in. Papa, go on a rant. I'll try and read out as much as I can as long as it's PG-13. You don't have to make it PG-13, but I might change some words. Go ahead, though. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. I'm sure I've always appreciated your opinion as well. And, you know, when you've done some call-ins last year, like, thought you had some, I think we see the game similar, right? So I am interested to see what you have to say about it. Besides trade everyone, because that's such, like, I see that every day, and it's like, come on, it's not going to happen. What are we talking about here, right? So what are we talking about? Leafs can't even, like, get the puck in the zone this period. And now they ice it. And now they ice it. The shots are only 12-12, but I mean, if you're Woll, you must be like, please help me. Please help me. This is awful. Like, it's only 2-0 too. Like, bang, bang, they can get back into this. I've seen worse this year against the Penguins. It's just genuinely horrible to watch. Nyes takes a shot, and Knight swallows it up. And we have a face-off coming to the right of Knight in the offensive zone. As much as I don't want to say it, this is looking eerily familiar to right before Babcock was fired. I'm actually a Berube fan. I agree. I like Berube. I like him. Everything he says, I'm like, yes, I see the same thing. Him and Treliving. And a lot of people are saying Treliving ruined this team. On paper, they're deeper. It's a mentality issue. These guys do not want to do what they're being asked to do because it's too hard. That's what it is. You can see it. Then what else is it, right? Like, I don't get it. I like Berube. Everything he says, I'm like, yes, makes sense. Perfect. Patrick, we're going to do some call-ins soon. We're going to probably do something, hopefully for the holidays. We'll see. Schedule's been really weird this year, so we're trying to get as much content going for you guys as possible. Last year was a little bit more spread out, and towards the end of the year in the playoffs, we, had some more room for call-ins. Nick and I were on streams and stuff like that. So trying to make, do with what the schedule is this year, but maybe during the Olympic break, we can do some, like, fun stuff with you guys as well. Get some call-ins going. I think there'd be a lot of room for that. We're also trying to establish, and hopefully we can get it going in the new year, like weekly streams where, we go live at a set time every Monday or whatever day it is. And you guys can, call in, give your thoughts, stuff like that. So we're, definitely trying to set some stuff up like that for you guys. So we can get, together with you guys more and get your thoughts and on the team and stuff like that. But I'll get to that in a second, Papa Pauly. I'm going to save your thoughts for a commercial break here. Play is still going on. I really want to get to it, and I want to give it the time. If Matthews is scoring, then yes, the penalty kill is fine. But I feel like if he uses his 200-foot game and penalty kill role to defend his lack of scoring, one shouldn't cost the other. And I agree with that, right? But like other players do that. Like is McDavid horrible defensively? I don't think he's not on the penalty kill, but is he horrible defensively? And then if he's like, hey, I'm locking in defensively, and if he only scores like 20 goals, are Oilers fans going to be like, yeah, for sure, I'm cool with that? I don't think that makes sense, right? I don't know if fans are booing right now. I can't really hear the crowd too well, but this, I can't hear anything besides the commentary. Like, that place is dead. Waugh chips it down into the zone. There's 8 minutes and 10 seconds left in the second period. Shots are 13-12 for the Leafs, so they're getting more shots, but holy smokes. Can we get a shot on goal here? And I guess they got to trust the process a little bit. Continue to do their thing, and maybe they'll break through, but like they're not getting any high danger scoring chances. And now Cowan just spins off of a hit. That's not great. Would like him to finish his check there. And an icing against Chicago. So, no commercial again, but Patrick saying Babcock, Keefe, now Berube, like look in the mirror. It's the guys. Yeah, it's the guys on the team. It's the players. It's the players. Always has been. Always has been. Always has been. Look at the Amazon documentary, the COVID one, the 2021 year that came out in 2022. Go back and watch it. Keefe is like, guys, we have to do these things. If we don't do these things, we're going to get absolutely cooked in the playoffs. And Joe Thornton sat down with the leadership group and said, shut up. Come on, we're in first place. It's fine. Okay, keep building those bad habits, man. Keep building those bad habits. And then you're going to think it's fine mentally, and you're never going to, improve upon those things. And you're going to get the same result year after year after year after year after year. And it is just a random Tuesday night. But anyway, commercial break. So, Papa Pauly says, so like I mentioned before, the administration spent time and effort trying to get a supporting cast for this team, which, I'll stop there, I think they needed. I think this team is better built on paper at this point. They have more guys who can play in different situations. They have a third-line center now, and they have a guy in Scott Laughton who is a second-line center who's playing fourth-line minutes for this team. They're better on paper. Problem to me has always been mentality. Now, Papa Pauly continues to say they tried to change the DNA of this team, and genuinely, I think they got the right guys. When we have guys who are on the ice that are willing to buy into the system that the coach is trying to get them to play, it works. Beautifully put. I totally agree. I have so many people texting me, and I have buddies I have this conversation with all the time, where they're like, dump and chase doesn't work. The Florida Panthers won the Stanley Cup dumping and chasing. It works. It absolutely works. It doesn't work if you dump and peel off, or if you dump and skate around. That's when it doesn't work. You have to execute upon the system. They're not doing it. Look at the Joshua Waugh, not Joshua Waugh, but the Dakota Joshua, Nicola Waugh, and McMahon line. I agree. At times they look very good, and it's because they're doing the things. The problem has always and forever been the core of this team. I'll exclude JT from this because the guy has been a dream. And JT has been worth every single penny. I don't care what people say, $11 million is too much. Look where the league is going, man. $8 million players now are like 70-point guys, right? Crosby was an $8 million player, right? So, exactly. Now, nothing's going to change if we don't change the glaring thing that's keeping us from where we are. We're stagnant. Game 7 losses. Guys not showing up on time or at all. If we need to, and Morgan Riley, to me, a lot of people dump on him. He's one of their best players in the playoffs every single year, every single time. If we do need a DNA change, it needs to be from the foundation up. And we know what we're talking about at that point. It's Austin Matthews, William Nylander, guys like that, right? I know it's not what you want to hear, but it's the only right answer in my mind. Like these guys, to solve this problem, by the way, the top guys like Matthews, Nylander, all these guys, they need to buy in. They still haven't. That's a problem. I don't know. Like, Berube should just come out and say that straight up. Look at the Blues. Patrick Maroon, I'll get to more of your comments in a second. Patrick Maroon had an interview like last week, I think, where he was talking about the Blues team in 2019, where he said they were so bad. They were playing so bad. They were last in the league in January. Well after, I think a week into January. And they had a team-only meeting, players only. And some of the leaders stood up and said, we suck. And it starts with us. We need to be better. And what this coach has put forth, we need to all buy in and do what he is asking us to do, because it is so simple. And if we do it, we will find success because we have some good players on this team. The Leafs can't get that into their head, the top guys on this team. And if your top players are not doing it, I don't know how many teams, general managers, coaches have said it. If your top guys are not doing it, why would the $1 million players do it? They're not going to do it either. And they're not relied upon to do it. They're there to chip in here and there. Look at the Panthers, man. Who won them that series? It was the third and the fourth line. Tkachuk was horrible all playoffs. He was hurt. But he was giving 100%. He's bought into the system. So then he can go to the next guy in the locker room and point at him and say, why aren't you buying in? Why aren't you doing it? I'm doing it and I'm hurt. End of rant. The play is on here. I know it's, again, a random regular season game, but it goes on forever. It's been going on forever. Papa Paulie says, I want to draw a comparison to the Florida Panthers that made it to the Stanley Cup final and lost. They were a team in transition. They were a team that was struggling, a team that looked like they didn't give a shit. Something flipped with those guys, and look how it turned it around. They also didn't change their coach, by the way. I'm pretty sure Paul Maurice was the coach from the start that season. I think. I could be wrong about that. We have stop and play here, and they are going to commercial. The problem is I don't think our guys have that in them. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't know if they have that dog in them or able to do it. I also think I was having this conversation with somebody last week. I think they messed up the leadership of this team. Because when this new era started, who were your leaders going to be? Nylander, you weren't sold as a leader, but he's a great supporting player that can score at that time, right? It was always going to be Austin Matthews' team. He was the best player. And you had Marner there, and he was going to be a leader, part of the leadership group. You knew moving forward, right? Once guys like JVR and Bozak were traded or they were let go, whatever. They were going to be the new leadership group. And I think they messed it up where we know what happened with Austin Matthews and why he wasn't given the C. And I think John Tavares was a good captain. I do, and he was a good captain in Long Island and all these things, right? And it's a great choice, of course. But then you give the captaincy to that guy, so now everyone has to listen to that guy, even though everybody knows the team is actually ran by this group of players. It's a weird dynamic. It's a weird dynamic. And then you have the other guy, and we know the stories, that thought he should have been the captain, and everybody, you know, in his group thought he should have been the captain and stuff, so it creates even more tension. It's weird. So I think they messed that up from the start as well. We all knew whose team it was going to be at some point, and they didn't go with it. It was always Connor McDavid's team in Edmonton, right? You bring in John Tavares. The leadership group, I think, was kind of messed up at that point. I do. And I think John Tavares is a great captain and a great leader, and he's still a great leader for this team. But I think they messed it up from the start. And I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. Look at the Chicago Blackhawks, ironically, because the Leafs are playing them tonight. Kane, Taves, Seabrook, Keith, all these guys. Hey, win us a Stanley Cup, please. You're great and skilled. Fantastic. And they were making good money, right? Fantastic. Great. They win 3 cups, and then the Blackhawks organization said, here, what do you want? Whatever you want in terms of money. You want double digits now? You want to be the first $10 million players? No problem. Thank you for the cups. Here's your money. The Leafs, and it was Kyle Dubas, said, we want to build a model like that. We want to win Stanley Cups. We believe in you. What do you guys want? You want $11 million? Okay, we'll give it to you first. Please, 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 please win us a Stanley Cup. It's not how it works. You gave them the keys to the castle before they even built any of the foundation. That's not how that works. I thought that was ridiculous at the time. Look at the Blackhawks. The organization said, you want us 3 Stanley Cups. We'll pay you whatever we want now, or whatever you want, because it doesn't matter. Who cares? It's fine. We got 5:08 left here in the second. That's the end of my rant. That's just how I feel about the team. I just don't know how you fix that mindset at this point. I don't know if, I'm not saying you can't. I don't know how, because I don't know the specifics of the dynamic, and especially in the room, because we're not let in that much. And it's understandable because they're the Leafs. But crazy. Shots are 15-14 now for the Blackhawks, still 2-0. 5:08 left in the second. Face off to the right of Joseph Woll. The Leafs have had a better period here statistically. They have. However, that doesn't matter. Puck down into the... Oh, it's now in the neutral zone. Domi's grabbing it. He's trying to dump that in deep. He's out there with his line mates on the third line there with Wah and Dakota Joshua. Wah gives it away. Thrun looks like he's getting into it with Doc. Here comes Domi. Bit of the rough stuff. Maybe trying to get the boys into it here. By the way, the last season, the Leafs didn't play well in the first half of the season. They won the cup after. That season was also much shorter, and there was only 2 rounds of playoffs. Patrick saying Matthews was complaining behind the scenes for sure. I don't think it was Matthews. I was alluding to the other guy. No one wanted JT as captain after last play. Everyone was saying John Tavares is too robotic. Too robotic. He's not a captain. And then now the C is off of him. It's so funny how the narrative changes. And I half these narratives don't come from Leafs fans. Like half this stuff you hear, they're not Leafs fans making this up. Right? Oh, John Tavares is too robotic. He's not a real leader. He was a really good leader in this market, I think. You don't want to get too high. You don't want to get too low, right? Matt Sundin was the same way. If you don't like that, that's what it is. But he leads by example. That's the type of leader he is. I think Matthews is a similar type of personality in that way. That, you know, his leadership style is lead by example. And I've heard some things behind the scenes about how hard he works. And it's very hard. So he's that type that, you know, follow behind me type of thing, right? I just think they kind of messed up that dynamic from the start. But the whole narrative, like a couple years ago, oh, Tavares, he's not a real leader on this team. Why does he have the C? And now it's changed because the C is off of him and on Matthews. Oh, Tavares, what a great season he's having. He took a pay cut. He's the best guy ever. I love John Tavares. I've been a fan the whole time. The whole time because I'm a Leafs fan and I believe in him. And he's been a great, consistent player for them always. Worth his contract. And he took less to be here originally. And here he comes right now trying to get the Leafs on the board. Blackhawks are back the other way. It's a 2-on-2. Nazar doing his thing. Gets a shot. It's blocked by McCabe out to the point. Leafs are bunching a lot tonight too. Yeah, Mark, the crowd is dead. Absolutely. Oh, Wall almost lets that sneak behind him, but it doesn't. And he covers up. Nazar everywhere on that shift, it seemed like. No one... I'm breaking Treliving's finger if he trades any more picks. There's no more picks to trade. I was willing to sell a goalie for a top 6 forward, but if they lose tonight, why even think like that? I don't even think you could trade a goalie at this point because I wouldn't trade Joseph Wall, and Anthony Stolarz is hurt, so I wouldn't do that. And I wouldn't do that this season anyway. You have until the offseason to figure that out, so... What's up, Twisted? Appreciate everybody here tuning in. The reason Hamilton does not have a pro hockey team is because Toronto would want one. Toronto probably would want a second one. I don't think the Leafs dominate this market, though. That's the thing in surrounding areas. I don't think the NHL sees a reason for that. Although they built an arena in the 80s for it, and they're remodeling it now to be smaller. It's time to retool, trade Matthews, Domi, and Michelli. Brad as a GM has failed us. Look what he did to Calgary. We paid a price for Carlo and Lawton. He was handcuffed in Calgary. I don't think we've seen enough of Treliving's moves yet, I have to be honest. We were all like, this is the thing with everyone turning on Treliving. I get we're mad. Not even a year ago, we were like, this guy's awesome. I'm sticking by my word. I think he's a good GM. I think he's brought in some good players. On paper. That motivation thing, whatever, that's either on coaching or the players themselves. I think he's put a good group here together on paper. That actually looks a little bit more cohesive than previous years where you're like, who is our third line center? I have no idea. It could be someone else on any given night. But I'm sticking by my guns here. I think on paper they've added some good players here that should help. But Hasn't worked. Robinson trying to get sprung there for a breakaway pass. Nothing given. Thank you, Papa Polly. It doesn't matter what GM. When Dubas was here, you're getting the same result. Yes, they made the playoffs, but they were relying the whole time on their top players. And then before that was Lamoriello. Same result. And then in terms of coaching, Babcock, Keefe, like it's the same issues, guys. It's the same issues. Penalty coming to Vlasic. Oh, Leafs power play. Woohoo! Yes, the Blackhawks are going to score another goal. Yes, man. I'm so excited for this power play. Yes, I am so excited for this power play, guys. Super excited. Yes, let's get some music going here because I mean, ecstatic to watch the Leafs power play get to work here. This is awesome. I'm so ready to watch this thing get to work. Vlasic for interference. Leafs lose the draw. I wonder what's going to happen here. They won the division last year. And they lost one player and they added more. I don't understand. I don't think it's the GM, man. I don't. Everything is the same. Everything is the same. To a degree. To a degree. You could totally sell a goalie this season with Hildeby being legit. Wall would go for a lot. I would wait, though, because, like, Stolarz is hurt, and you don't have to make that decision now. And you can let Hildeby continue with the Marlies. Just get a little bit more confident. There's some things in Hildeby's game that he needs to iron out still. Like these little things where he was too small in the shootout, right? When guys are driving in on him, like he gets a little bit too small. Like he's 6'7", right? So look at this. Look at this power play. Just around we go on the perimeter. Around and around and around. And everyone's standing still. Everyone stands in their spot, and around we go, around the perimeter, no substance. And block shots like crazy. This is awful. This is awful. These little touch area passes, and the puck comes out of the zone. I wonder if they're going to get booed off the ice here. Stolarz got hurt. And I don't like this narrative. I know this came... I saw this online. We got like 4 seconds left here. 1 sec. 2 seconds. Shoot the puck. Clear it out. The Leafs will have 44 seconds on the power play to start the third period. It's 2-0 Blackhawks, and the shots are about even to end the third period. So, Stolarz, I saw that last week, I think, online. Like, somebody was like, oh, he quit on the team, and then it got some legs somehow. That is so ridiculous. The team would suspend him if that happened. That narrative is so ridiculous. And they posted an episode after a win last week of, like, the blueprint, and they were handing off the belt, and he was right there. I think Hildeby might have gotten the belt. He was right there taking a photo. So he did not quit on the team. If he were to quit the team, like if he took his ball and went home and quit the team or whatever and was like, I need a break, like the team would suspend him for that. You can't just do that. You could ask for a leave, like JT Miller took one last year because he was like, I'm over this. But he got hurt. He's hurt. And it's unfortunate. You know, everyone's going to bust out the, you know, injury prone narrative and all that stuff as well. But he got injured. It's worse than they thought. He did not quit on this team. I saw him last week in that video. He was beside Hildeby. So, and he was smiling. He was smiling in case anyone wanted to know. But hard to win when you let the other team consistently beat you to the puck. Yes, it's exactly. That's my point about the dump and chase. If you dump and chase, you have to dump it and chase it. You can't dump it and skate around or dump it and go to the bench. You have to go get the puck. You can't let the other team get it and then like, oh, pretend to play defense. You can't do that. Buy into the system or fire the coach, whatever. And then you fire the coach and you're going to bring in a guy like what happened with Keefe. Oh, wow, they're playing so much better. And you get the same result in the playoffs. I think we all know the answer here, guys. We're just letting it draw out longer than we thought. But It's not hard to figure this out, in my opinion, from Papa Pauly. They clearly still have to haven't gotten over the Game 7 loss last postseason. You can see it how they handle getting scored on. It's true. Yeah, that was devastating last year. There's no sense of urgency because they give up before the game is done. And Berube's talked about that as well. Berube has talked about that. They get scored on, there's no pushback, right? And then even the game was in reach last week coming into the third period. And they did not. You're at home. You can dictate the pace of that game for the rest of the game. You're at home. You can set the pace. You can get the crowd into it. They didn't do any of that. They didn't do none of that last game. Jack is saying trade Matthews now while he still has value. Only one shot on goal 12 minutes into the game. Horrible. And the other team has 7. And then they had 2 goals on the board. One was taken off. Then you score another one. Could have been 4-0 in that third period. How it's only 2-0 still is crazy. Yeah, they're always getting outshot now. I think with this system in place, though, like, you're probably going to get outshot more times than not. Even last year, I mean, there was a couple games, of course, that they outshot their opponent, but even last year. I mean, at some point, if this continues this way, at some point, very early in the new year, there's going to be a discussion about Berube. There will be. But there has to be a discussion in that room. I want to hear about a players-only meeting. I want to hear about that. When is that happening? I want to hear about that. Give me the St. Louis 2019 thing. Give me the 2018 Capitals thing. Ovi went through the same thing. The Caps were going through the same thing in like 2016-17, by the way, that the Leafs are going through now. The exact same thing. They finally put it together in 2018. I want to know, when are they going to have this closed door players only meeting? When is that happening? I want to know. Let's schedule it. Let's schedule it. Let's get it going, guys. This is ridiculous. They've had one good scoring chance all game. 2. Maybe. With the Lawton one because he got tripped and there was a power play. And then they went to the power play. He comes off the ice. The only guy's actually trying tonight. They put that stinking power play on there. Yeah, I didn't like Matthews not talking to the media after last game. Who are the captain of this team? Captain of this team. I just feel like there was captains in the past. And there's captains around the league. You can see this. Like Connor McDavid's a great example. They dictate what happens. They dictate what happens. Do you think the Oilers in that Western Conference last year on paper were the best team to make it to the Stanley Cup final? No. 97 wills that team to victory. Mentally, physically, everything. He wills that team to victory. And not just him, Draisaitl. Of course, he has his partner in crime there. Wills that team to victory. When Sundin had a players only meeting one season, they had points in 17 games in a row. Players only meeting tomorrow. Somebody's got to beat somebody else up. I don't know what has to happen. Something. And if Matthews is hurt, like, yeah, 100%. Connor McDavid, that's the way I see it. He is a dog. He wills his team to victory. It doesn't matter. He can look up and down a lineup sheet versus whoever they were playing in the playoffs, Dallas. Dallas might be better on paper. He doesn't care. He's going to will his team to victory. Mentally, physically, spiritually, he was not losing. Florida was too much to handle, but Toronto, like the Leafs don't have... Matthews isn't that guy right now. He's not. I've seen him score a lot of goals and put the team on his back before in his career. I have seen it. Where did that go? What is that? Where is it? Patrick saying, the real question is, should I leave work and go pick up some beer for home? The gas station is close. Or closed. I'm not sure which one you meant. Yes. Beers might be the play. Matthews is not hurt. He's sulking because he doesn't like Berube's defensive system. Then, like, you know what, at this point? Like, if that's what it is, because we don't know what it is, right? Like, he says he's healthy. So if he's healthy, clearly they're trying to get the coach fired or something like that, which is crazy because they won the division last year. And they went the furthest in the playoffs and actually looked like they were in it for the first time in 9 years. If that is the case, get off my hockey team. It's not change the coach anymore. Get off my hockey team. You can't win with that mindset. You'll never, ever win with that mindset. Look at the Panthers, man. Maurice came in and said, like, I love you guys. We got to come together. We got to be in alignment. I'm going to ask you to do some things that are going to make you uncomfortable. If you do them, we will find success. We will find success. And they said, okay, coach, no problem. We're bought in. And they formed that family together. So if that's the case, get off my hockey team. Restart. Yeah, no. If that's the case, you'll never win with that mindset. Ever. Now, I don't think you're saving the season if you trade Matthews, though, at this point. But they need to figure that out. And if he is hurt, then that's another story. That's something you can figure out. Think, because I have a hard time believing he just doesn't care. I do. I do think he cares. And if he's hurt, then obviously he's hurt, right? He's trying to do what he can. But we don't know. We don't know what's happening. I think more likely than not, because of the information we have, he's dealing with a nagging injury. He's a guy who does care. His body's kind of failing him right now. And we have no idea if this is a career-altering one or if this is something where he's just trying to scrape and claw to the Olympics, because if he got surgery, he would have to miss it. And he's trying to get to the Olympics so then he can play say I played in the Olympics, and then check out for like 8 months to recover. But to rebuild again at this point would be... The only guy I would feel bad for in a rebuild, because we've all been there before. We went through a Leafs rebuild. We would have to sit through it, whatever. The only guy I would feel bad for if the Leafs had to rebuild is John Tavares. Because he re-signed on a sweetheart deal. He could be making $9 million somewhere else. And he re-signed to try and win a Stanley Cup because he cares that much about this team. And he's always done what has been asked of him. And he's taken less on deals to play here. And it would just be a slap in his face, I think. But one of the best players of all time, no joke. Yeah, no Bedard for Chicago. Now, Chicago's a better team this year. They're not the bottom feeders that they have been. They're a much better team. But do you think the Ducks would give us Seneca for Matthews? No, I don't. Because, well, it depends. It depends. I think it really depends, because if behind the scenes, if the GMs know, okay, Matthews actually isn't hurt, he's just disgruntled or something, then that trade like that could make sense. But if it's like, oh no, yeah, Matthews is hurt, and that's, that's why. If Matthews is hurt, they're not exploring a trade, right? Like that's the other thing. So yeah, JT is the only guy I would feel bad for. I got John Tavares' jersey as soon as he was named captain, with the C on it and the whole thing. Real jersey. Like, John Tavares is I'm going to date myself here. I'm sure there's people watching here who are much older than I. John Tavares, like, growing up, one of my favorite players. Not, like, necessarily growing up, like, teenage years or whatever. One of my favorite players, bar none. When he signed with the Leafs, I was absolutely ecstatic. I was like, this can't actually be happening. He took less to come here. He could have made way more somewhere else, like San Jose or even on Long Island. Took less to come here. He's done everything that's ever been asked of him. He does great stuff in the community. He signed for less just this past offseason. And he's still having relatively a good season. He's kind of disappeared here for about 3 weeks at this point. But I would feel the most bad for him if they started a rebuild, because he would have to stick around. I would feel the worst for him. Stuart Skinner versus Tristan Jarry tonight in Pittsburgh, by the way. Pretty interesting stuff there. 4-2 for the... Mark, here's the other thing with the Olympics thing that I think like a lot of people are speculating about. If you're, I think I said this earlier in the stream, if you're the Leafs organization and you find out that he's hurt, bad enough to be playing the way he is, and he's holding out on surgery or whatever it is to play in the Olympics, as an organization, I get it. Like, you don't want to dampen that relationship, and if you shut him down, like he's going to be like, wow, this team shut me down from playing for my country in the Olympics. Like, that is an incredible honor. I get you don't want to ruin that relationship, but like that's something that is ridiculous, I think. Like, you would have to shut him down You are paid over $13 million to score goals for this team, to be the captain of this team. So I think if we all found out that that was the case, and then he was shut down like right after the Olympics, if the Leafs are on the outside looking out of the playoffs, or as soon as they're eliminated from the playoffs, let's say like he got surgery and he's out for a while, I bet fans would be absolutely furious. Furious. Yeah, I just don't know if he's that type of guy, Jack. I just don't know if he is. Like, I feel like he's more of the lead by example type of leader, like not get super animated on the bench. Like, I don't think he's that. I don't think he's JT Miller is what I'm trying to say. I don't think he is. I don't think he's that type. And that's okay, because there's certain guys in the NHL that aren't like that, who are captains, right? They're more even keel, and that serves a purpose, but I don't think we go far in the playoffs without a proper 1C. They could play better, but it won't bring us a cup. Yeah, like that. It would be tough without him. And no like great replacement. Yeah, Scott Lawton too. He came home to play. He had a great quote this morning actually, because it's Joe Bowen night tonight. And shout out to Joe Bowen. He's obviously the GOAT.
Holy mackerel!
Just wanted to bring that up for you guys. Shout out to Joe Bowen. It's Joe Bowen night tonight, and Scott Lawton had a nice story this morning about how he was talking about how he used to, after practices, him and his dad would throw on the game like on the radio and go to Harvey's together and listen to Joe Bowen call the game on the radio. So I thought that was pretty cool. And now he's a Leaf, and it's going poorly. So, yeah, but he's been hurt going how far back? Mark says to the start of last year in training camp when he got hurt. Before that, he was the 70 goal guy, right? So Matthews is the type of guy to give up on winning a cup and sacrifice a season so he can try and win a gold medal. If he doesn't get a gold medal and never gets a cup, he might not be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, yeah. I mean, he would certainly be, in terms of regular season success, one of the best Leafs of all time, right? Like, no one's going to take that away from him, but it's crazy. It's crazy. And we'll see. I don't know if that's the case, right? We don't know. Can't make assumptions either, but we can speculate, I guess. But, yeah. I don't think we want him to be JT Miller. JT Miller's the type of guy that will float and give the rest of his team shit. Yeah, you're seeing that in New York at times of the season too, right? Like when the Rangers are on fire, I'm glad Matthews is not this guy, and he's never really been this guy. When the Rangers are on fire, JT Miller looks like $1 million. And when they are awful, he looks awful. So he goes with the team. But a captain, the team should go with the captain, right? Lead. You lead. You should not be going with the team, how the team is going, right? So that's just how I feel about that. What has he ever given the team going on 10 years? 69 goal season, 0 third rounds. What does he actually do for us? He's had some big moments. I will give him that. Some big playoff goals he has. Guys, I'm going to take a break for just a few minutes here. We're just a few minutes away from the third period, so I'm going to dip out for just a few minutes. I'll be back for the start of the third period. But we're talking a lot about this, Austin Matthews. We had a video about this the other day. I'll leave you guys with this video for just a few minutes. Nick and I give our thoughts on, Matthews. There's been a lot of talk about, at the time we recorded this video, we didn't know that he didn't speak to the media after the game against the Oilers. That's a big thing as well. But here's some of our thoughts on what people are saying about Austin Matthews right now, since it's kind of topical, since we're talking about it in the chat. I'll be back in just a few minutes.
Leafs fans have had enough, and a horrifying reality is setting in. Is following yet another disappointing loss. Fans, media, everyone have their eyes on one particular player and one particular issue. And folks, the reality set in that none of us wanted to see happen. We're going to break that down, but also discuss some comments from Craig Berube following another brutal loss, as well as a ton of other updates on this episode, ladies and gentlemen. But before we get into it all, if you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, quick reminder that this is the place to be for daily Leafs content. Folks, Darius, bad loss yesterday. Really bad. You're coming into Hockey Night in Canada. The Leafs have had a little bit of momentum over the past month, and they come out and they put up an absolute stinker. The effort wasn't there, and you're going up against a team in the Oilers who just made a panic trade for Tristan Jarry, and it got to the point where, let's just dive right into it, let's go Blue Jays chants have begun in the middle of December, and the Jays are doing good things. They're obviously having a great offseason, but for the Leafs here, this has been, you can argue right now, I don't think right now is rock bottom, but fans have had enough And I mean, we had an accidental own goal by Troy Setcher, who's been great. Berube benching William Nylander because he was sick while keeping Matias Maccelli on the bench for like almost a month straight, really 2 or 3 weeks. And we'll have in Austin Matthews in a minute. That's the storyline and the focus of this video. But Darius, what are your thoughts on everything that happened and transpired yesterday? Now for the 4th time in 5 games or whatever it was, Berube has called out his team once again.
Yeah, and I mean it's horrific at this point. And Nick, I think you would agree. You know, I'm usually the optimist on this channel. Not that you aren't, but I think we're pretty optimistic here on the channel as a tandem, and you know, try to keep it PG as well. But I think that, you know, Craig Berube, his comments after last night's game are really, really telling to me at this point, and I'm starting to get a little bit worried because, again, I think you have reason to be worried if you're a Leafs fan already, but I tend to be a little bit more optimistic than most. And could they end up in the playoffs still? Yes, absolutely. They're still kind of in the mix. I think everybody in the Eastern Conference is. It's been a weird year. But the comments coming out after the game about him calling out the leadership group specifically is pretty shocking. And I think that this team, if they are asking themselves that in December, who's going to grab this team by the balls as a leader still, I think this team could be cooked if that's something that you're still asking at this point. And I'm just being frank, right, at this point. So that is concerning to me at the highest level. Obviously, Austin Matthews has the C, but I think this team and organization kind of butchered, you know, what the leadership group was very, very early on, because everyone kind of knew it was ultimately going to be Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews' team and William Nylander, right? Like their team, they were going to be the leadership group at some point. Then they gave the captaincy to John Tavares, and he's a great captain. He's a great leader, and you're seeing it again this year. He's leading by example, right? But nobody really knows who the leader is, right? And even when Mitch Marner was here, it's the same thing. Like, who is the leader? Who do you answer to? And who's going to grab this team by the balls and say, follow me? And nobody's doing that still, right? So I think that's concerning. If you're still asking yourself these questions, and Craig Berube is asking for that and calling, you know, his leadership group out in December of year 2, I think that's concerning. And I'm also interested, before I throw it back to you, you know, Sheldon Keefe said something, maybe not similar, but he said things in the past where he called out certain players and top players like a Mitch Marner. And then he had to walk back his comments. So I'm wondering what's going to happen with that with Craig Berube here. I don't think he will, but that has happened in the past.
Yeah, and he said a bunch of things. 11 and now. It's the 3rd period. It's been 2 games in a row at home where we're flat. That's the bottom line for me. Whatever it is, we shouldn't be coming out and dictating, or we should have rather been coming out and dictating how we're going to play that period and how we wanted to play it. I talked to the team after the game. We'll go full screen for this one so you guys can kind of fully read it here. I talked to the team after the game. Our leaders got to take control of it a lot more than they are right now. To me, it's all mindset, whether you're down a goal or up in the San Jose game. Got to have more urgency. 2 games in a row.
Nick, but we are back here for the 3rd period. About 30 seconds into the period here already. Sorry, guys. I was just grabbing some water for myself because we got into a heated rant there, everybody. But Leafs need a lot more urgency in this period, and they, quite frankly, need to win this game. This would be an embarrassing loss. This would be a really, really embarrassing loss. Chicago kills off the penalty, and we're back to even strength. At least at 44 seconds there on the power play to start the period. Blackhawks, I think I just saw, are 8-1-1 when leading after 2 periods this season. So we'll see how the rest of this one goes. A lot more urgency needed for the Leafs. The Leafs are 1-9-3 when trailing after 2 periods this season. So, I mean, this is a tall ask. Nazar takes a shot. It's swallowed up by Joseph Woll. Yes, Jack, keeping in the spirit of PG-13, it is water. Just some H2O here as we're getting into some heated rants. I'm leaving out hope still. Maybe we'll get some... Everybody should get some vodka going after the game if they end up losing this. Matthews has had the puck in the offensive zone for 12 seconds tonight. That's awesome, guys. That's awesome. Horrible. Out of play, and we got a stoppage in play. .1806 left in the 3rd. Shots are 17-15 for the Chicago Blackhawks. 2-0 Blackhawks. Matthews looks like dejected on the bench. Like, what is going on here? We get a new look line here. At center ice, we have Lawton up the middle with Domi and Lorentz. So Cowan's been moved up. I guess Domi might be on the fourth line now. Oh, turnaround shot off the pad. Spencer Knight was somewhat out of the net. I have to say, I have Spencer Knight on my fantasy team. If the Leafs do get shut out tonight, this would be a big week for me. But I don't want that to happen. I would love the Leafs to score 3 goals here. Because I'm not doing well in the fantasy league anyway. So I might as well score a couple goals here. Leafs fourth line here on the forecheck. But looks like it's going to come out here to center. And it does. It's over to Benoit. He maintains possession. Blackhawks look pretty good. They look pretty good. They're keeping it very simple. Obviously, they're without their best offensive threat. One of the best offensive players in the league this year, Connor Bedard. With a separated shoulder until the new year. But otherwise, they're keeping it pretty simple. Nazar looks pretty good. Obviously, Spencer Knight looks very good. So, that is what that looks like tonight. Not good for the Leafs. That's what that looks like. They're trying a lot of stretch passes tonight, too. So, now we got Tavares, Robertson, and Cowan. So, Cowan's on the second line now. And he just made a good defensive play. The puck is coming back up the ice. It's behind Chicago's net, and they're going to break it out pretty seamlessly here with no real pressure from the Leafs. Someone's trying to get the crowd into it here by whistling, and it is not working. They're just not making any... Matthews with a big hit at center. They're not making anything happen for themselves, you know? Matthews gets it deep. Looks like he was trying to stick handle through the zone. Nylander to Nyes in the slot, but Nyes can't get the shot off. They're not humiliated. Like, I just don't think they feel these emotions. Like, do these guys not get pissed off and want to play harder? Growing up, all the coaches I had were like, the best hockey you'll ever play is when you're mad. Like, get mad and you'll play great. Like, sometimes stupid, right? We see that in certain players, like Max Domi taking dumb penalties. But if you get mad enough, like, you'll play hard, man. Joshua shoots and it gets deflected out of play. Good little turnover there from Nick Waugh, creating a scoring chance for Dakota Joshua. Shots are now 19-16 for the Blackhawks. Shout out to everybody watching the stream tonight. Appreciate every single one of you. Let's do a bit of a roll call here. This might be the last one for the night. I haven't done it too much tonight because I've been ranting, but where are you guys watching from? Is it Western Canada? Is it Eastern Canada? Are you in Toronto? Are you in the GTA? Are you watching from the United States? Are you watching from Tulum, Mexico, like I saw earlier? Where are you guys watching from? Let me know. Puck is down. The Leafs win the faceoff, and they just got to be hard work and getting pucks to the net for the rest of the night. OEL takes a slap shot, but he kind of fanned on it. He gets it to the front of the net. The Blackhawks are doing a very decent job of clearing the front of the net, but I just don't think the Leafs are making life difficult for them anywhere on the ice tonight. Domi plays it back for Riley. Riley to McCabe. McCabe regroups around the net. Blackhawks are playing like a weird, not 1-3-1, but they're all back in the neutral zone waiting for the Leafs to do something stupid, and then they turn it over, and then they come back the other way. Ooh, Bertuzzi gets a chance in front. He just misses. Yeah, it doesn't matter if the Leafs got a power play at this point. You're not scoring. Power play is awful. Another shot in front. The Leafs look very ugly in the defensive zone. (14:18) left here in the third period. 2-0 Blackhawks. Shots are 20-16 for Chicago. Low shots on goal game. Low scoring game. No scoring game for the Leafs. Well, Woll comes out to play the puck. That would have been a breakaway for Chicago. Nice little play. Robertson and Cowan in on the forecheck. They're out there with Tavares on this new look second line. Puck battle in the corner. Robertson and Cowan win the puck battle. Tavares with the puck. It looks like he's trying to get the puck to the net. He does. It's blocked again in front. Dalmasho with a good play in front to block that. Puck down low to Cowan. He kicks it off to Robertson. Robertson peels off. He's back at the point now. He makes a nice move. He's good at protecting the puck. Benoit shoots, just misses the net. Cowan puts it in front. I think it's behind Knight, and he has it. Tavares was looking for it. And he has it, and that stops play. Well, Chicago's still up. Oh, Cowan almost banked that in under the glove. That was close. That would have been nice. But it remains 2-0. Blackhawks here with just 13 minutes left in the third. I have a hard time believing the Leafs are going to get 2 goals here. But we've seen crazier, and we've seen crazier this season as well. So we'll see what happens. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know where you're watching from. Appreciate every single one of you who are in the stream here tonight. Where are you watching from? I know I got, a lot of viewers in the chat last time from Western Ontario, I was going to say. Western Canada, whether it be BC or Alberta. Where are you guys watching from tonight? Let's get a roll call here since we're all sitting in the misery together. Nothing better than that. Now, I don't think... This hasn't been worse. I mean, if they get shut out, this is probably the worst stream I've done this year. But the Capitals game is definitely up there for #1 still. So, Victus is watching from Stockholm. Shout out to Stockholm, Sweden. I'm from Toronto, but I'm in Keswick right now in Lake Simcoe. That's awesome. For the most part, this is a great team. This is from Mark. This is a great team. I'm firm that it's the leadership that sucks. That is, yep, I think we're all not figuring it out. I think we all know at this point that that is probably what it is. And I mean, Brube even said it after the last game. He called it out. He said this leadership group, you got to get it together. It starts with the leadership group. Corey's saying the Leafs are still going to win. Chris is saying, go Leafs, go. Redirect is saying USA from Chicago. Shout out. I would imagine you're a Chicago Blackhawks fan. Understandable. Hope you're enjoying my absolute misery here tonight. The Leafs have had 3 good scoring chances all night. Sorry, not Lorentz. I keep hitting him a lot and messed up. Lawton scoring chance that drew the penalty. Nylander to Nyes in front of the net with a great save from Spencer Knight. And then just now, Easton Cowan with a great chance. That is it. That is it. The Leafs win the draw, but Mikheyev takes it off the draw. Dickinson shoots. Great save by Joseph Woll. Off the stick. Redirect saying we've been getting handled recently. I think you guys are still in the playoff spot, though. I could be wrong, but, everything's been fluctuating like every night. So. Matthews with a nice move around Vlasic. He's in the corner. Wish he could get a shot off here. Yeah, Scott, same thought exactly. Like, as soon as I was saying it, the comment popped up. Literally exactly the same thought. Mark is saying, in terms of Matthews, doubt he re-signs in Toronto. He made his money here, and I wager he bows out after this season. Well, he still has a few years left on his deal, so he's got to at least finish that. We'll see if he leaves after. No success here, though, at least in the playoffs. One of the best regular season players of all time in Leafs history. And he will be, at some point soon, the leading goal scorer in Leafs history. As for Toronto Rangers, I thought he was going to leave Edmonton. I did not think he was going to resign. And he did for 2 years. Oh, McMahon with a good opportunity there, and it just gets blocked away by Spencer Knight into the corner. But he had a moment there to wind up that shot, and he did. That was a good wrist shot. Or snapshot. Here comes Dakota Joshua. And the Leafs lose another puck battle, and it's a 2-on-1 for Chicago. And nice play by OEL to break that up. That would have been disastrous. Burakovsky has the puck in the corner. He gets it towards the net. Oh, big save by Woll, but there's a big juicy rebound. OEL collects it. He throws it around the boards too. Benoit just... he loses it. Benoit behind the net again. He throws it up the wing to Dakota Joshua. Joshua gets it out to his center, Wah. See, that's a good play. Whoa! Just narrowly avoids a big hit. OEL has it. Holds in front to Wah. He can't get the shot off. The Boo Birds are out. The Boo Birds are out. Don't be hard on the forecheck. There is 10 minutes and 30 seconds left here, ladies and gentlemen, in this game. And the Leafs do not look like they have any intentions of scoring a goal tonight. The crowd is booing. It's loud now. This crowd is booing. It just peaked. I was wondering when it was going to start like consistently like that, and it just did. Oh, the puck is in front, and Spencer Knight has it. Hey, look who just created that scoring chance again, ladies and gentlemen. Number 24, Scott Lawton. Play this guy more. Play him more. He needs more ice time. He just drove the net. McMahon had probably one of the better chances, shooting chances of the games. Awful. Awful. Just awful. I mean, how much money do we all pay to watch this team? We got a offensive zone faceoff coming here for the Leafs. Off the draw to OEL at the point. He scores! They're on the board. They're on the board.
Holy mackerel!
And he goes back to give his goaltender the tap. The Leafs are on the board. It is 2-1. Shot from the point. Looks like it might have hit something. I'll get to it in a second. Looks like it might have hit something in front. Yes, it hits the Chicago player's leg and bounces top corner. And it is 2-1 now. The Leafs back into this game. Okay, it's 2-1. Shots are 22-20. I feel a little bit better now. We'll see if they get the second one. Sometimes you need a crappy one like that, but Wall makes a nice stop there, and he will hold on to it, and we are headed to a commercial break. You see the crowd boos, and the Leafs score. Do it more often. Exactly. You got to let them know you're upset. Top line on the ice for that one. Nylander, Nyes, Matthews. You had OEL and Riley out there, so top line all around. We got a roll call going here before we wrap up, because obviously only got 9 minutes left here. Where's everyone watching from tonight? Patrick saying mission successful. And the parade is back on. Big goal by OEL. Yeah, Lon should be getting more ice time, at least tonight. If the guy's going, you got to play him, man. You got to play him. If your guys are not going, if certain guys are not going, they don't play. That's like pretty simple. Crowd was booing, but the Leafs are back into it. It is now 2-1. Also, just want to point out, for those of you who are new here, we got a bunch of new viewers in. Of course, always happens near the end of a game. Everyone wants to watch me crash out if the Leafs win. Or lose, excuse me. But as you can see on the bottom right of your screen there, 23,566 subscribers. So if you're new here to the channel, we keep you up to date with everything that's going on with the Leafs, mixed in with some reactions. And of course, if you're not a Leafs fan and you're watching this and you want to stick around for some crash outs and stuff like that at times, hit that subscribe button. Become a subscriber of the channel. Our goal tonight is 23,580. So we just need 14 more of you guys. So if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. We keep you up to date with everything that's going on with the Toronto Maple Leafs. And we're up already a couple subs from when we started tonight. So really appreciate the support on the channel and all you guys who've been watching all season long. So we got a 2-1 game here. There's 9:50 left in the third period. We're coming back from commercial now. OEL, he has 22 points in 32 games this season. He's been fantastic. He has 16 assists and 6 goals in those games. He's been awesome all season long, and he gets another one on the board tonight. Gets the Leafs on the board. So we'll see what happens the rest of the way. Jack Nick will be back for our video tomorrow. Assist to Matthews and Nylander on that goal off the faceoff. Yeah, OEL's been awesome. Really found his groove here. Here we go. Oh, he has... Okay. Shoot the puck. There's something wrong with this guy. Shoot the puck. How many times have you seen him shoot the puck from that area? He's always passing off now. Stetcher shoots. That's just wide. Goalie, Spencer Knight lost his stick is gone. Oh, Nylander just misses the top corner. Leafs are buzzing a little bit now. A little bit too late for my liking, boys. What happened to the last 50 minutes? Could have been up. Could have been up. Prophet saying that Matthews has lowered his self-esteem since his play, with his play in the last 2 periods. Bad giveaway there by the Leafs. This looks bad. An awkward 3-on-2 turns into just a cycle for the Blackhawks that the Leafs hopefully are going to break up here. Nope. Kaiser has it at the point. He shoots it in on goal. Nice save by Joseph Woll. Leafs trying to get the puck out. Looks like they will here. And they will. Robertson skating out to center. He just flips it into the zone. Henry Thrun giving chase. He's there with Cowan. Cowan wins the puck battle. He loses the puck. Tavares is in on it behind the net. McMahon closes out his man. The Leafs keep the puck in the zone and deep in the zone. Cowan loses it as well. Pull Woll now? No, that's a little too early. Just for the 1 goal, a little too early at least. It's always the defense or secondary lines producing on this team. Well, they didn't have any defensive scoring last year, so it's nice to see OEL having the year he's having. Offensively, at least. But, whoa, Joshua with a big hit there in the corner. Okay, Leafs are kind of buzzing now, but they're giving up a lot of odd man rushes still. Nice play by OEL to close out his man on that one. Seven minutes here. Grizzlick with a shot just misses the far post. Leafs need to get this puck out. Yeah. And, I mean, they're going to be buzzing here for a few minutes, and, like, Chicago's going to get a cheap one, and that'll be the game. Watch. Masha with a shot from a sharp angle. The Leafs need to just get this puck out. They have so much difficulty just getting it out. They also bunch in the middle so much. Why do these guys do that? This is the NHL. Why are you bunching like that? Like, they all go after the puck like Timbits players. Oh, somebody's got to get it out. Me. It'll be me. No, play your position, man. Because then if everyone bunches, like, whoever comes out with the puck, where are you going to put the puck? Wall with a nice save. And he swallows it up. Prophet saying, do it for Joe. Do it for Joe, boys. Do it for Joe. Do it for Joe. It's Joe Bowen night. Unfortunately, I mean, this has been a bad game for 50 minutes. And, okay, the puck kind of bobbled on him there. That makes sense. Matthews on that one rush a couple minutes ago. But, unfortunately, you can't count them out, but this has been an awful game for 50 minutes, and now they decide to start playing. Makes no sense. I don't understand this team. Benoit into the zone. It's a 3-on-2 that might be developing. Nope. Goes into the corner. Fourth line's out there with Domi. Ooh, shot on goal, and a nice save by Spencer Knight. Oh, here comes Lorentz into the zone. And the puck is out to center ice. The Leafs still maintain possession, though. McCabe has it. We're gearing up for the final 5 here, ladies and gentlemen. Domi gets the puck in deep. Lorentz gives chase. Big hit on Vlasic. Morgan Riley gives chase back in his own zone. He grabs the puck out to center ice. It's tipped back into the zone. No icing. Fourth line changes. I know. I don't understand why they wait till the last 7 minutes of the game to play. Yeah, that Matthews replay is damning, man. Awful. It's like, how many times have you seen him walk in that exact same position and rifle it under the bar? It's so sad. Puck is chipped in. Matthews is skating now. I haven't seen him skate like this in a long time. I feel like, I don't know if I'm going crazy. I think he's actually skating hard right now. I mean, definitely not the same, but giving more of an effort. Why is Riley yelling at his winger to go for the puck down there? Now everyone's out of position. Riley pins this guy to the ice. No penalty. Final 5, guys. Final 5. Ooh, OEL tries to find Cowan streaking. Couldn't. Cowan tried to find that behind the net, but Spencer Knight played it around. Yeah, Nyes was good to start the season. Has not been good recently. Has not been good for about a month. Maybe he needs to get off that line. Maybe they really need to shake it up. Top of the lineup. Shot deflected wide of the Chicago net. It's coming back. See if the Leafs can pull this one out. Ahead for Cowan. Cowan beats out the icing. Nice move behind the back. He has it in the corner. He's bringing it to the front of the net. Tries to get it to Robertson. Robertson shoots. Tavares gloves it down. He just misses it. Robertson back to the point. To Troy Stetcher. Back to Robertson. Nice move by Robertson. He gets hooked. The stick goes flying. It's a penalty. Holding the stick call on the Blackhawks. The Leafs are going back to the power play to do nothing. The Leafs are going to go do nothing on this power play. You might as well have let them keep playing that. They had a better shot at scoring there. They're going to do absolutely nothing. Leafs are going to a power play with 4 minutes left. Well, 3 minutes, 39 seconds left in the third period. There might be a chance here, ladies and gentlemen. And everything we've been saying for the last 2 hours could be flushed down the toilet. I mean, it really wouldn't because it's all very relevant. But we could leave this stream very happy tonight if they're able to pot one here on this power play. And then we'll see what happens in overtime because they haven't been great in overtime. Whew, this will be an exciting end. The Blackhawks just cheered. Yeah, Jack, that's a good one. Blackhawks just said, yes! They called the penalty. Yes! Best case scenario. Let's go. Let's see what happens here in the final minutes. Do we think... Okay. Why in the chat if the Leafs are going to score on this power play? And in the chat if they're not going to score. Spam the chat. Spam the chat. Why if they're going to score and if they're not going to score. What do we think is going to happen here on this power play? Coming up here. We got 3 minutes and 39 seconds left in the third. The Leafs are about to go on a 2-minute power play. Why for yes and for no will they score on the power play? Spam that chat. Spam that chat. They're about to drop the penalty here. Drop the puck, excuse me. I think it's a penalty. All right, Lisa, power play. Got a lot of whys. Got a lot of whys. Patrick saying yes. Brad saying yes. Olivia saying yes. Leafs are going to score here. I love the positivity, guys. Glow is pro is saying why. Riley has lots of space. He shoots. It's in the pads. It's loose. Oh, my God. That could have went in. Chicago is now on a 2-on-2 going back the other way. They shoot. It's blocked. Tavares back the other way. Here we go. Matthews has it. He kicks it to Nyes. Nyes streaking in. He shoots. And, oh, Spencer Knight just stops it under his arm. Woo! Blake Sim saying, why? Let's go, why? We got a lot of whys in the chat. Under 2 goals this period. Sorry, Mariano. I smell a Leafs goal coming here. Leafs win the draw. Picked off in front. Matthews puts it right under the bar. Tie game. Tie game.
Holy mackerel!
Tie game. Tie game. Oh, I love it. I love it. Matthews picks it off in front, puts it right over his shoulder, right under the bar. Oh, and he did the ear thing. He did the ear thing. He wants to hear the crowd. Wow. Power play goal. Power play goal. Okay, puck is down again. Going back in. Joshua. Oh, wins the battle. He scores. 3-2. What?
Holy mackerel!
10 seconds later. Right off the faceoff, Troy Stetcher. Oh, throws it in, and he wins the puck battle. Great win on the puck battle. 3-2 Leafs, just like that. Just like that. Wow. Okay, wow. Things have really... This is what this team does. I brought it up earlier in the stream. I was streaming that game against the Penguins earlier this year. They looked dead for 50 minutes, and they somehow won that game in regulation. Wow. Wow. Wow, I got to fix the clock here. We got 2:56 left in the third. It's 3-2 Leafs and shots are even. I guess Matthews kind of put the team on his back, guys. Not really. He started skating this period. He's been good this period. He's been good this period. Wow. Joshua's been pretty good this year, I will say. He's one guy I never say, like you can't expect him to be, like, everything for this team. The depth's got to score here and there, and he kind of has at points this season, so... He's been pretty good. Joshua gets it down low again. Here's Wall on the forecheck. They're out there with McMahon. They got that interesting third line back together again. (3-2 Leafs. Wow, with 2 minutes and 23 seconds left here in the third period. Shots are even. Patrick, he should have been slandered. He should have been slandered for 55 minutes, but this is how you respond. This is... I'm going to shut up. And now the video doesn't... We don't have to make a video about him tomorrow because nobody's going to question him now because this was a better third period. Well, everyone's going to question the first 50 minutes, let's be honest. But that was a much better effort from him physically, all period, and then he scores that goal, and then they respond right away, Dakota Joshua, with that other goal. There is a minute 45 left in this game right now. Sorry, redirect. I mean, this was a... Lizard did come in this chat and say, don't count the Leafs out. He did say that from the... As soon as he came into the chat. First message I saw from him, he said, hey, don't count the Leafs out. It was like, well, we'll see. Big goals here from the boys. Just need a lucky one off of a butt. And then it turns into this. The effort, guys, don't let it be lost. I'll get to this in a second. We got about just over a minute left. Goalie is out. Spencer Knight is out. Whoa, Lawton. Do not forget the first 50 minutes of this game is the point I wanted to make. We got 35 seconds left here in the third. Whoa, what a giveaway. Oh no, in front. Lawton to Tavares. Settle that puck down, man. Oh my god, just chip it past. 20 seconds. 20 seconds. Oh my god. Teravainen. Where was he sending that puck? There's 8 seconds left. The clock here on the stream is wrong. Sorry, guys. 5 seconds. 3, 2. Big save by Wall. And the game is over. The Leafs win. The Leafs come back and win the game 3-2. What just happened?
Holy
What just happened? That was the second time. I gotta stream these games more often. I saw both of their comeback wins in the third period after trailing after 2 periods. Live on stream. Go Leafs go in the chat. Spam it, spam it. Go Leafs go. Big win. Big, big win. 3-2 in regulation. I have no idea how that just happened. Wow. What just happened? That is a final score, ladies and gentlemen. The Leafs win 3-2. Goals from OEL in the third. Matthews and Dakota Joshua. Holy Mackinac. Holy Mackinac. The Leafs win a must-win game on Joe Bowen night. I said it from the start. They had to win this game. What a solid 4.5 minutes from the Leafs tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to say, Crankbait, nice to see you in the chat as well. 3-1 when I stream. That Washington game was horrible. Horrible. But on Joe Bowen night, I said this was a must-win. They had to win this game. They had to win this game. It would have been embarrassing if they lost this game. On Joe Bowen night, I'm going to keep spamming them. Holy Mackinac, they won the game. They came out and they won it. It was ugly. Do not forget the first 50 minutes of this game. There are going to be questions. I will be asking questions tomorrow. I will be thinking about these questions. I cannot believe that just happened. How does this team continue to get away with that stuff? I'm happy. I mean, they picked up a big 2 points here, but what the heck? What just happened? Well, horrible first 50 minutes or so. But the Leafs ultimately win it on goals by OEL, Matthews on the power play. Matthews a goal on the power play. And Dakota Joshua at the end. Unbelievable. On Joe Bowen night, they pull off the win.
Holy Mackinac!
Joe Bowen night. They win the game. All right, guys. Will they make the playoffs? That is the question of the day, Jack. I'm shocked right now. Matthews had the puck on his stick, and we absolutely trashed him in this chat. Wow. He was skating better that period. He scored a big goal. That was huge. That was huge. I'm shocked right now. That was unbelievable. He did deserve it. He did. The whole team did. That was a horrible effort. But they stuck with the... I guess this is what they are, man. They stuck with the process, and sometimes it does look ugly. But, I mean, that last goal is so, like... That is so... Oh, yeah, Patrick. But he deserved it. He deserved it. Look at the way the team was playing. We were like, you got to put the team on your back. He had 2 points. He had 2 points in that third. That's a good response. I kind of shut everybody up. Like, you can't really question him now, right? After the game. Like, you can ask, like, why didn't you play for 50 minutes? Like, that's a question I would ask if I was in the room right now. Well, like, where were you guys for the first 50 minutes? Will that happen again? Why does it continue to happen? But you can't be like, you won the game and you had 2 points. Man. That was an interesting last 10 minutes there. So, wow, that was exciting. Okay, so the Leafs pick up a huge 2 points in a game that was horrific for almost an hour. I'll tease this before we wrap up here, guys. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Big win for the Leafs. I'll tease this right before there's a lot going on with Leafs transactions and stuff heading into tomorrow. We will have a video tomorrow on a trade target. An insider has named a new trade target for the Leafs. They're going to be active in trying to acquire this player. It is a defenseman. I will tease that for tomorrow. It is a defenseman. The Leafs could be in the market for a goaltender. How did they acquire such goaltender? These are all things that just happened, by the way, while this game was on. How did they acquire such goaltender? We'll get into that in a video as well. I'm going to tease this for the next couple of days. We're going to have a lot of content for you guys coming up here. But the Leafs win, and we're going to be talking about this tomorrow. The Leafs win a huge game, 3-2, pick up a huge 2 points. They stay in the race. This was a must-win game, not just for the points, but for Joe Bowen. And I'm glad that Joe Bowen, I'm going to go back and listen to his calls after this. I'm glad that he was able to call a win on a night like tonight, and at least they gave him 5 exciting minutes. Because it was awful before that. And no, it's not Dougie Hamilton. I will tease that as well. It's somebody else, and we'll get to it in another video. But thank you, everyone, for tuning in. This was a lot of fun the entire time because, you know, seeing the chat, interacting with you guys, seeing everybody's thoughts. It was fun the entire time, but it was especially fun the last 5 minutes of the game. The Leafs pick up a 3-2 win against the Chicago Blackhawks. We'll be back with another video tomorrow. Huge win on Joe Bowen night. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We'll be back with a bunch of videos for the rest of the week. And we'll catch you guys tomorrow.
Digest your daily dose of gold. Stories of the bold where legends are told. From first pop drop to the season's full. Tune in and watch the drama unfold.